This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by Brendan Fraser's return to Hollywood. We'd be lucky if it was. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob, and we are diving back into the 90s. We had a little hiatus where we had some new guests, which is always exciting, but we got to get down to business. We're talking about the 90s. We're going back in time, and who better to return to the 90s with than two of my all-time favorites? It's, of course, Gabby Van Cuylenburg and Andre Bossani. Welcome back, guys.
Hello there.
Who's Andre Bossani?
No, I pronounced it right, didn't I? Bossari.
Oh no!
Do you know what's so frustrating? Is I was going to comment on this. Andre came up on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, I've been pronouncing his name wrong because I've been pronouncing it Bull, B-U-L, Bulsari, and I went to say Bossari, and I said Bossani instead. So in trying to correct it, I've made it worse. Guys, welcome to my life. Guys, it's Gabby and Andre, and
other boyfriend.
Surname's no longer required. No. That's embarrassing. And you know what? I could cut it. I could just do the intro again, but I'm not because I'm lazy.
It's not lazy. It's being real. It's being real, unedited, raw. We like it.
We put it on Front Street. Andre, one day I'm going to get your name right. But no one corrected me previously when I got it wrong, and I got it wrong twice before, and no one corrected me. So.
Well, whenever we record, it's either an internet issue or there's a storm, and now my name's wrong, so it's just a classic thing now.
I am legitimately disappointed in myself because I was trying so hard to get it right this time.
No, it's fine.
He's been on the show 3 times, technically 4, because we've been working on a little secret project which hasn't been finished yet, but they've been on something else. And you'd think by now I would have got it right, but just take Gabby's name when you get married, and then I'll get it right.
Don't. I'm so sick of spelling it to people. Please stop.
Well, how are you both, despite that indiscretion where I just butchered that surname?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm getting into a new work routine, and yeah, that's mainly it. Getting into a new work routine, really.
I heard someone pretty cool is responsible for you getting a job, so.
Yes. You may have heard that somewhere. Someone might have told you that. But yeah, so I start at a school next term, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Nice one.
What about you?
Yeah, I've been great. I'll also be starting up a new career pretty soon, and I'll be heading back into uni in May. So in the upcoming months, I'll be very busy, but I'm happy to keep moving forward.
Very, very cool. I mean, and busy's good. Busy is chaotic and stressful, but it is good. I'm surprised you didn't I was doing well, and then some idiot got my name wrong again.
Now I have an identity crisis. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'm not going to live it down. I'm just going to have to just push forward and deal with it. It's really good to have you guys back on the show. As I mentioned, we've been working on little projects. We have caught up in the last few weeks, but before then, I think the last time we all spoke was January. And we're almost at the end of March now, which is kind of crazy. So been keen to get you guys back on and talk movies. Because it's always a good show. It's always a long show, so which is good. That's not a complaint. I love a long show, but there's always some really good conversation. And now that Gabby and I don't work together anymore, I don't know if we talked about this last time, but we don't work together anymore. So the conversations are few and far between. But she does get a healthy stream of reels on Instagram almost on a daily basis, I would say.
I sure do. They make my day. Every time I'm feeling like a little bit frustrated or anything, I'm like. And I'll look at my phone at recess or lunch, and I'll see 5 notifications.
Do you know what it is? It's because of all of my friends. I think you have the most relaxed sense of humor, and not that my friends are uptight. You've listened to the show, none of them are uptight, but everyone's got a very certain style of humor. But with you, I'm I could have said the dumbest thing, and I'm probably going to get a response.
Yeah, I think everything is funny. So yeah, I'll tell you this story because I don't think I only told, I think just my family and Andre this one on one group of girls that I'm friends with. But the other day I wore an emerald green shirt to work. It wasn't a t-shirt, it was like a button-up shirt. And I was teaching at a school that I don't usually teach at. And a kid turned around after I was just almost begging them to do work at this point because this kid's 14 years old.
Mm.
And he turned around and was like, "Miss, you look like you work at Woolies." And
I remember seeing this online.
And I was like, oh my God. Like, I can't even be mad at you because it's actually like, first of all, that's hilarious. Secondly, that is so funny. Like, I can't believe I didn't say that. And now I can obviously never wear that shirt ever again. Because even though the kid doesn't go to the school that I will be teaching at permanently, someone else is going to make that observation. And I don't want to be hit twice with the same bullet.
Well, that's the thing. Like, kids aren't the most inventive, but they are relentless. So if one that's picked up on it, then another one will, and just be a barrage of, just like Woolies, like just shooting at you with a gun full of Woolies.
They'll be like, "Oh, can you please scan my rewards card, miss?"
That's like, great.
Shut up.
Yeah. That's so good. I I almost said nice one. I'm like, God damn it! I know that's my catchphrase now.
Come on. It's a catchphrase. You can't get rid of it now.
I know. I can't avoid it. I don't have any other supplementary catchphrases. But speaking of that, because I think the last time you were on, you were like, you need to make a T-shirt where it's just your face that says "nice one," which I'm not going to do. But
damn.
Nice suggestion. Snowball on top of that. No.
No, I like the idea, but I'm not putting my face on anything. I don't even put my face on social media. Like I came very close the other night. I'm like, not yet. I have a voice and a face for podcasting. But the other night I did start working on some merch. And then I got really angry because Photoshop was being annoying. So I didn't actually get to lock anything. But I've started on early designs, and I've also reached out to someone as well about doing some art. So I'm hoping in a few months we'll have some merch. And
yay!
And Gabby gave me a great idea for stickers, so we might get some. We'll probably get one or two shirts. I don't want to overwhelm people with merch. Be like, hey, here's hundreds of dollars worth of merch, buy it all, because no one will anyway. But if I can get one or two shirts and some stickers and stuff, that's where we'll start. And I've got some pretty cool ideas for expanding the show, but that's down the line. We should talk about the 90s. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys were both born in the 90s, is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah, you're a little bit younger, so that's good. What? I guess what we always when we dive back is, what do the 90s mean to you? Like, what they represent to you and your relationship with movies?
Well, it's a bit of a weird question because the directing style is very different, especially when it comes to British movies, as opposed to Americans. But it was a lot of pushing the envelope and where it could possibly go. In my opinion, which led to some fantastic movies where it can, and even leading into the 2000s, which we're not going to talk about here, but there's definitely a lot of things that you can't say or do nowadays. So it's just a juxtaposition, and the transition between those two kind of genres.
That's really interesting because you're right. There's a lot of things they said and did in the 90s, especially. And it may come on your list, but some of the early works of Quentin Tarantino I've talked about a lot lately. There's some stuff that he says you can't get away with now.
No, absolutely not.
But then the other side of it is they couldn't say half the stuff they do say in movies now without the 90s. 90s, you're right, is a real envelope pushing time. It's the rise of the auteur, it's the rise of independent film. The amount of kind of mainstream, huge independent filmmakers at the start of the 90s is crazy. I always just think of kind of, grunge is a go-to because it's the era of grunge, but also kind of raw punk music, just more indie alt rock soundtracks and stuff like that. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. What about you, Gabs?
I was born smack bang in the middle of the 90s, so for me, it's just my childhood, and there are movies that I go back to from the 90s that I didn't watch as a kid because they were too old for me. Mm-hmm. And just based on a maturity level, I wouldn't have understood half of what was going on. I wouldn't have understood the jokes. So obviously I didn't see them, but just like a lot of animation at the time. And for me it was the age of being a single or only child rather, for a time. And so
Yeah, single child is a weird way to put it.
single child. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so I was numero uno for that entire period. And so it means I actually got to spend a lot of time with my parents, watching movies. And we've spoken about the drive-ins a little bit, but I'd go to the drive-ins with my parents and they'd see like a double feature. So it'd be the kids movie that plays first, and then I'd end up falling asleep, and then they'd watch whatever came next. At the time my dad had a ute, so they'd put like a blow-up mattress in the back of the ute and like a bunch of pillows, and it'd be like a whole thing. So yeah, I think for me, like, the 90s is very nostalgic and reminiscent of my childhood, but also like it's a lot of the fashion is coming right back. It's so at the moment, and because like I could say I deal, like I'm constantly with kids all the time, and they're teenagers, so they'll talk to me about anything that isn't work related. And it's like we're sort of slipping from like 90s style into early Y2K style. And I just think that is not meant for my body type. Please wind it back, like back to where it was. I don't know when this started, but go back to before that, where clothes were made to fit me and don't make me look like a dad, because I am trying so hard. I'm like, oh, let's buy a pair of pants, and the the button is below my belly button, and I just think that's not where it's meant to go. So I don't want to buy those.
You're preaching to the choir here. I'm like,
Yeah.
fit,
Yeah, but I think if I had to think about the 90s as a time, it's just growing up.
That's the one thing I've heard from a lot of guests this stage, like for this round, is that most people, the 90s were their kind of formative years or their early years. Like I always think of the 90s as my childhood. I know Maddie said the same thing, and Sarah and Nick Owen and Josh, like everyone's like, yeah, that's when we were kids. Like that's so it's funny because it's not really a huge age discrepancy between the guests. Like everyone's within the same kind of age limit, so we're all kind of on that same page now. But you raised a really good point. Like you mentioned animation and the 90s. I mean, animation's been brilliant forever. Like I can't think of a time where animation didn't have something good about it. But the 90s, you have that Disney Renaissance. We obviously starting in the late 80s with Little Mermaids, but then you get Aladdin and Lion King and Mulan and Pocahontas, a film that no one really talks about, but the art style is gorgeous. And Hercules, and then you've also got the rise of Pixar, like when Steve Jobs didn't know what to do with it, and he just sold it off to Disney, and then you get Toy Story. So we talked about grungy and grimy and like indie film, but then you do have like that beautiful animation as well.
There's just like the color as well, just like so saturated in color, which is quite different from a lot of movies at the time. Like you said, like a lot more gritty movies that deal with harder topics. The opposite of that, and like as a kid, movies to me were all fun. They were all always fun and always had fun stuff. And there were sad parts, but they were mostly fun. And so that's why I started enjoying movies so much, is because it was like a different way to have fun other than playing outside or something like that. Oh, go play outside. And you're like, oh, okay, great. Oh, let's watch a movie. And it's like, oh, yeah, yes, I will like to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, we still have almost every Disney movie on VHS.
Nice.
And just memories of my older sister and I chucking one in and just sitting on the couch all happily watching those movies like from the 90s. Again, you're right, that Disney Renaissance is fantastic.
But you have to like press the rewind button to get it all the way back to the start.
Exactly.
You also get the rise of, and this is not really on topic, not on brand for the show, but we'll talk about it very quickly, is the rise of Disney Channel, which gives you shows like DuckTales and Darkwing Duck, like a lot of duck-themed animation.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, a lot of
Chippendale Rescue Rangers, like stuff that like are staples of my childhood, and now they're all coming back. Like I don't know if you noticed, but over the last couple of years, all of those shows are returning, either remade or like revamped.
Yeah, Animaniacs, that came back.
Absolutely. And then the other side, I guess the third prong, it's a multi-pronged decade. Like you got your animation, you got your indie films, but then there's also the introduction of like the action hero dressed in leather, like which starts with, I want to say, Blade. And then you get the Matrix and stuff like that. And like that like created a weird trend for the early 2000s. But yeah, just lots of, well, actually, I guess The Crow would even predate those. That was maybe the first kind of leather-bound kind of superhero. Again, I'm trying not to go through too many films in case they're on your lists, but I kind of think about that as well. It's like leather, it's cartoons, and then just like weird indie films. Excellent. Very, very. Like we're all on the same page. There's no one I've spoken to about the '90s so far who's been like, "Oh, I don't know, it was fine." Like this is like everyone's peak. This is everyone's peak nostalgia, because then you get like the '90s is also the rise of the boy band. Like yeah, there were a few in the '80s, but the '90s, you get your Backstreet Boys and your Five and your NSYNC. I'm married to a huge boy band fan. She loves all that stuff. Blue, I think, is 2001. I want to say maybe 2000.
Oh, really? So I don't put a time on it. I just remember like watching like Rager video hits and just being like singing in my lounge room while my parents are like, I don't know, vacuuming behind me.
I saw Blue in concert. So
what?
Yeah.
I'm seeing Ice Cube on Thursday, so I mean, like a little bit different.
Yeah, you're definitely more gangster than me. You definitely bring more of a street vibe. I like metal bands. I just when I saw Blue, I didn't. I didn't. I was into pop music. I didn't know. I didn't know any better. No, we went to a huge concert. We're getting way off track, but that's fine. Called Rumba. I don't know if you remember this, but there's a huge festival in the early 2000s that the Fox threw, Fox FM, and it was like 20 international artists, and they all come and sing like 5 songs. But like you get like it was like Shaggy and Blue and Human Nature, which I didn't care for at all. And like it's like pretty much every big pop act from like 2000 2001 were there. It was crazy.
I feel like that is something that my mom would have like been all over. I know she won like tickets to Shaggy, I think, from Fox FM, and like she wouldn't shut up about it for like ages. I was like, okay, we get it.
She's like, what? It wasn't me. And you're like, all right, Mom, thanks.
Oh heck.
That's like peak formative years for me. Like that's where most of my references come from. I'll reference like dumb like one hit wonder hip hop acts. I'm like, it was Big Bro that took over the show, remember? Like just and people are like, what are you talking about?
I love that song.
I don't. All right, we should jump into some movies. We should jump into some very cool lists. I'm saying that before I even hear them because I know the caliber of guest I'm speaking with today. I know you're going to bring some sick lists for me. Talk some 90s films. We should get into it. Gabby, let's start with you. Number 5. What is your first 90s film?
Now, I know you guys have referenced Julia Roberts a lot on previous episodes.
My mom, I think, was a big one. So
yeah, so I felt like a 90s list without her would be like a bit insulting, considering she was probably like the queen of the 90s. And so my first pick is Pretty Woman. I was sort of tossing up between Pretty Woman and My Best Friend's Wedding, but I think I enjoy Pretty Woman like just a touch more.
Alrighty, so have not seen it. It's a film that I up until my 30s, I was like, why do I want to see that? But now that I'm expanding my horizons and I'm throwing that snobbery aside, I really actually do want to see it. I just haven't got around to it yet. But this is, if I may, The Hooker with the Heart of Gold. Is this the?
Yes.
Is that the way they describe that movie?
Yeah, I mean, like
it's a little reductive.
It's a bit of a it is a bit of a trope. You know, we start the movie with like the dichotomy between the two characters. So one's like, you know, she's waking up late at night and she's getting ready for a night of I don't know,
Passion and
slinging
money making.
That's it. Well, yeah. But so she is getting ready for her night out on the town, and she has that like iconic costume of like the dress that's like a skirt into a top, like with the O-ring in the middle.
It's like a blue, like almost kind of like a body stocking type thing, but it's not.
Yeah, so it's like she's got like the thigh high boots, and then
Of
it's like
course.
a blue skirt with an O-ring connected to like a white singlet top, a blonde
Yeah,
bob wig, and then like this little like leather hat. And so she's getting ready to sell her wares. And then we've got Richard Gere, who's at a party that he doesn't want to be at. And he like breaks up, like he's breaking up with his, I think it's his fiance, over the phone because she's had enough. Like he's not present. He's in, like, she's sick of it. She wants to settle down and get married, and he's just like not into it. And so he leaves this party that is for him, takes his lawyer or his friend, like his partner's car. He doesn't even know how to drive it. It's like an expensive sports car, but he doesn't know how to drive it because he's rich. So he gets driven everywhere.
Mm.
And he's just driving around like Hollywood, just like, I don't know where to go. I'm just driving. And he has this like thought, like, I'm gonna pick up a hooker then. Like I'm feel sad about myself. I want to feel better about myself. So he picks her up, and she's like, oh my God, like this is such a cool car. And she realizes that he knows nothing about it. She's going on and on about cars. And he's like looking at her like, oh, assuming, I guess, that maybe she'd be stupid or something,
Mm.
or like gross and dirty. And so she gives him directions to where, like, this hotel he's meant to be staying at, and tells him how to sort of, she's like, can I drive? So he lets her drive, parks the car, and he's like, all right, well, here's like $20, get the bus back or something. And she's like, oh, okay. And sort of like she's waiting. And then he's like, okay, like actually come inside. But he gives her like a jacket because she's obviously, it's a fancy hotel. I think it's like the W or something. So it's something really
Sure.
fancy. And so everyone in that hotel is fancy schmancy. And he's one of their like VIP guests. He's got the penthouse. And so he gives her like a jacket to sort of cover up and brings her upstairs. And she's thinking, okay, let's get down to business. Like I've got the whole night. Like I need to make some money. And so she's like, it's, let's get started. She pulls out like a rack of condoms, being like, okay, we've got this, this, this. And he's like, no, that's not necessary. And she's like, oh, like you must be some freak. Like, what do you want?
Mm.
And then he's like, how much for the whole night? And she goes, oh, like, I think it's something like $300, which now it's like, really? But at the time, I guess that's a lot of money.
I'm trying to think what that is in inflation. Like maybe $1,000. Like it's still not a lot. Like
It's not enough for me, but
but especially in LA, like in Hollywood, is that what it is? Did you say it's in LA?
yeah.
Like that doesn't seem like that seems like pretty steep. Like
Right. So
this
he's like,
film
"All
is
right."
now unrealistic. No.
And then straight away he's like, done. And she's like, oh, like shit, I should have gone higher.
Mm.
Anyway, and so they just start talking, and she gives him like the rules, like no kissing on the lips because she finds it to be too intimate.
Mm.
Anyway, I think like they do the deed, and then he ends up like just working while she's sort of like just hanging around watching a movie. And she spends the night, and the next day he's like, all right, like stay. And she's like, no, like I gotta go. She's got rent to pay. He's on the phone to his like partner, and he just like, I don't know, gets this weird idea that like he should sort of employ her for the week to accompany him as like some arm candy to close this deal that he's trying to get.
Okay.
And she's like initially a bit like, I don't know. And so she speaks to her friend about it, like who I think got her into the prostitution business. And she's like, just do it. Like, he sounds like he's all right. And so she says yes. And initially there's some teething issues. Like he gives her money to go, and he's like, you need to fix your wardrobe. Like, you can't come out with me looking like that because you look like a hooker. And she's like, well, hello, I am. But he gives her some money, and this is like that scene that like a lot of people know, is that she goes to buy, like walks into a store and they're like, oh, like these are very expensive. And she's like, I
You work
didn't
on
ask.
commission, don't you? Is that
Yeah,
scene?
yeah. So she's like, oh, like it's very expensive. She's like, oh, it's so expensive. Like you probably couldn't afford it. And she's like, oh yeah, you work on commission, don't you? Big mistake, huge. And so, she comes back, goes to another store with Richard Gere. And I can't remember the actor's name, but it's the same guy who plays the stylist in Princess Diaries, the hairstylist. He's like, we'll take you from this and this.
I haven't seen Princess Diaries in a long time. I don't think I've ever seen it start to finish. But
anyway, so
it's not the Tucci. It's not Stanley Tucci.
No. He's a different bald guy.
He's the stylist in The Devil Wears Prada. Yeah.
Yes. So he's also that he's the principal in Max Keeble's Big Move.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. First of all, props for dropping Max Keeble's Big Move, a film that no one ever talks about. But
I say cease all the time.
Yes, me too. Oh, it's so good. Oh my god, that is one of my favorite moments of that movie. And I believe it's got a young Danielle Panabaker, if I remember, in it. I can't remember. She was because she was also in Sky High, who grew up to be Killer Frost in The Flash, which I'm watching at the moment. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked.
But yeah, so
cease.
So he's like just fawning over. He's like, I want you to make her feel like the most expensive woman. I want you to do anything she asks, make her feel beautiful, make her feel amazing, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, just, how amazing. And he like drops the Black American Express is like, as amazing. And he's like, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you're so beautiful. But he starts doing it to the guy and he's like, I didn't mean me, I mean her. And so, she basically clears out the store. The next day returns to the other shop and they're like, oh, how can I help you? And like sucking up her ass. And she's like, oh yeah, I was actually in here the other day and you refused to serve me. So, and then, he takes her on, he takes her out to dinner and she has this like awkward moment because
this is the jewelry case thing.
Well, this is like before that. So they go and have escargot and she's trying to like put the fork in it and it like slides off and hit like one of the waiters like catches it. But yeah, at another event that they go to, he takes her to the opera, or I think it's the ballet or the opera or something. And then he has that thing where he like presents her. She's dolled up to the absolute nines and gives her this like beautiful necklace, and he like snaps it on her fingers. And apparently that wasn't in the script, so that's like her real reaction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and it's very sweet, and they end up obviously starting to sort of grow some feelings, but she's trying to remember it like it's just a job, blah blah blah. But she also, I guess, can't help feeling like there's something more there. They sort of learn a bit more about each other, but then he lets I think the partner knows about what's going on, that and so he makes this really like snide like comment about like, okay, when you're done with him, like how much for me, and like brings her right back down to feeling like she's just like a cheap hooker. And so she's like, all right, after this, like I'm completely done. I don't want anything to do with you anymore, blah, blah, blah. They sort of go their separate ways. He tries to apologize by offering her more money. And it's like, no, idiot. And so like, I think he learns like a lot about her, which ends up helping him close the deal with this big like business owner that they've been trying to land for a long time. I think just based on things that she sort of taught him as a person he's able to connect with this guy a lot more. And at the end they end up in love. Ooh. But it is very sweet, and the funny parts are funny, and I get the appeal of Richard Gere. Again, not really my thing, but I definitely get the appeal in that movie. And Julia Roberts just shines in every scene that she's in. She steals the entire movie. I feel like she's definitely like the lead in that movie.
Yeah, look, you've sold me on it. Like, in terms
his partner, the gross one, it's
Jason
George
Alexander.
Costanza. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw also, I can't remember her name. I have to look it up again now. I think it's Laura Giacomo or something. I'm butchering the name worse than I butchered Andre's name. Laura San Giacomo. She was in a bunch of like sitcoms in the 90s, and she was in something. I think she might be the friend you're talking about.
Yeah, Kit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's her. She was also in a movie that I liked. What was it now? It's a movie I watched recently as well. I can't remember what it was. I'm just scrolling to find it. The Stand, which is the Stephen King miniseries. She was in that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, she played Nadine Cross, who's kind of a twisted character. Like, you've sold me hardcore on this. I'm like, oh my god, I got to check out Pretty Woman now, like as soon as possible. Like, it sounds.
It's very funky. I like it.
I haven't seen the movie, but I do know that scene where you're talking about where he snaps the case closed. Yeah. And she's like,
yeah, I know a couple of key scenes, but Larry Miller was the other actor you're talking about, the stylist. Like,
yes,
if he's in it, I'm in. Like, I love me a good bald stylist, and I just love me some Max Cable. Like, I can't believe like someone. I don't know anyone else has seen Max Cable's big move, but
that's so funny because I don't think I was talking about it to my friend who I used to watch it with, and she couldn't remember it. So I'm like,
wow,
okay,
I always think
stop
of
gaslighting me.
Like, I always think of like when he thinks he's leaving. I don't know, but that's not the movie we're talking about today.
Yeah.
And like he just starts being like all cocky and stuff. He like kisses the teacher's hand.
Yeah. And then the bully like has his name on the shirt.
Yeah. Was that also the boy from Home Alone 3? Is that Alex D. Linz?
I can't remember, but I know he's in the last Twilight movie. He plays like the
Alex D. Linz, yeah, he's Home Alone 3. Which is underrated.
Yeah, he's in the last Twilight movie where he plays like one of the Romani like vampires who want to like take down the Volturi, and like they don't even care about why everyone's fighting. They're just like, yeah, like we're gonna take over. So yeah.
I completely forgot the word Volturi until you just said it right there. I'm like, oh yeah. I've only seen the first 3 Twilight films, but I'll watch Breaking Dawn parts 1 and 2 at some point.
They're actually good.
I think I've talked about this on the show before, but like I think they're like people like lost their minds. Well, like they're so awful. It's like, well, yeah, but like you're not a 14-year-old girl. Like you're not the intended audience.
And neither am I. I'm nearly twice that, but that's
no,
fine.
but you were when they came out.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. My wife saw the first Twilight film in cinemas, I want to say 3 times. Like, and she was an adult. Like, she was going in regularly. And I think I've seen it a handful of times. It was the first Blu-ray I owned. Like, because my wife bought me my first Blu-ray player, and it came with a couple. You could pick the free movies, and she's like, "Look, I know you don't like this movie, but like the other ones were awful." So it was this. So I got Casino Royale, which is arguably one of the best films ever made, and Twilight, and then I rewatched Twilight. You know what? Like, this flick's all right. Like, it's not really for me, but there's some fun stuff in it. Man, we got some conversation out of Pretty Woman. Let's and again, just a sneaky debut of Max Cable's big move. Andre, number 5. What do you got for us?
Now, this probably isn't going to be on anyone else's list, but it's something that I grew up with, and it's one of the first movies that I thought of when thinking about the 90s, and that's Dumb and Dumber.
So it's not on my list, but I'm actually shocked that my friend Josh didn't put it on. My friend Josh. My friend
Not
Josh
yours.
loves Jim Carrey. Dumb and Dumber, a flick I have not seen forever. But no, I'm not that surprised it's on your list. But we haven't had anyone put it on yet. take us through Dumb and Dumber.
Well, I'm pretty horrible at describing movie plots as.
Oh, you don't need to do that. Like, I don't know what Gabby
As
was
you
doing.
probably know by like, because I feel like when you and Gabby talk about movies, she describes a plot really well, the characters and stuff like that, and then when you and I talk, we just sort of like discuss certain scenes and then
Remember
just
this
like
bit?
laugh or like just geek out about it, and then it all just kind of goes to shit.
I think it's fine.
Oh, good.
No, but that's the whole. But like, there are no rules with the show. Like, I wasn't expecting a blow by blow, but of Pretty Woman, but I appreciated it because I haven't seen it, and I was like, wow, like you really.
I think that's probably why I do it because I'm
like if I haven't seen
it, yeah, I'll fix that for you.
Yeah, absolutely. But like again, like Dumb and Dumber, I haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't remember everything. But it's just like talking about those key things and what it is about it you love. Like, yeah, Gabby gave me a kind of like a synopsis of the film, but like she was telling me why she liked it. I totally got it. So yeah, don't judge your performance on the podcast. There are no rules. I got your name wrong, so we've already set the, and I've referenced it so many times because I'm making it normal. I'm normalizing it. So no, you just talk about what you like, and I'll chip in if I get stuck. Gabby will chip in, and yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah. So Dumb and Dumber. So our two main characters are Lloyd Christmas and Harry Dune. They're both complete imbeciles. Hence the title of the movie. But Lloyd finds a briefcase full of money from from this chick that that he drove to the airport. And this briefcase full of money was meant as a ransom to get a husband for a husband. Um, and essentially these two go on a giant trip across America to Aspen to return the money. And in the wake of that adventure, they end up pissing everybody that they possibly could off. That's the police. That's random rednecks. That's the people that originally wanted the ransom. And like it's just such a funny flick to me, because you can play dumb and that's fine, but there's so many quotable moments in that movie that I just can't help but laugh every time I see it. Both Jim Carrey and I forget his name.
Jeff Daniels.
That one, which is weird because that's a guy from the Newsroom.
It is, yeah.
They both play dumb so well. And yeah, it's always just been a hilarious childhood movie of mine.
I mean, it was a big year for Jim. Like, obviously, Jim Carrey started in the 80s, but the 90s is where he really shone. And like in that year, you get Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber, back to back in 1 year. And then the year after, you get Batman Forever, and then another Ace Ventura film. Like, he was just on fire.
Absolutely, I love Jim Carrey as an actor. Ace Ventura is one of my favorite movies of all time. The Mask. My sister and I used to watch that so much, but because we're so young, we used to hide behind the couch every time he would change into. But it had that kooky 90s cartoony special effects. But even that made us scared, so we just hide behind the couch.
Well, especially when the gangster puts on the mask, that's so terrifying. Like when the villain puts it, you're like, oh my god, and this is awful.
Yeah, and even watching the movie recently, because as a kid, when you look at it through kid eyes, it's not that bad, but those two mechanics get mufflers shoved up their asses, and it just doesn't compute in your kid brain that that's happening.
Yeah, that's a wacky film. Also, first film of Cameron Diaz, The Mask. I'm not the world's biggest Jim Carrey fan. I don't dislike him, but some of his humor is a bit too wacky for me. I'm like, all right, let's just say, let's just calm down a little bit. But I really love when Jim Carrey gets dark. I like when he gets weird. So Cable Guy is a flick that I know a lot of people have trouble with, but I like how weird it is. Me, Myself, and Irene is a bizarre film, but
I think it's so funny.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a couple of years, but gee, that one's funny. And then even films like Kick-Ass, like when he's in Kick-Ass 2, he's great. I know he went out and renounced the film later, which I was confused by, but I think he's great in that. And then obviously he does a lot of serious work as well. Man on the Moon is awesome. So even though like he's not my favorite actor, he does get a bit kind of crazy at times, which is his shtick. He's got some killer performances. But Dumb and Dumber, like that's where like I guess Ace Ventura is where it kind of started, but Dumb and Dumber I think is one that he's most maybe remembered for from that period, or like that's one that really kind of launched him. Yeah, it's a fun flick, like silly as hell, but like, and the premise is ridiculous. But there's some really good performances in there, some really fun silly stuff, and really embraced the idea of silliness. Like I feel like I can't think of a movie pre Dumb and Dumber that was that silly outside of like some Monty Python stuff. But this is like a different silly altogether.
Yeah, a lot of like loud noises and just like slapsticky stuff and just like jokes. Like it's funny to laugh at them because like not with them. Like it's not sarcastic humor. It's really just silly stuff, which like everyone can laugh at. Like a lot of people, think that they're so highbrow and they see something like that and then they're like, oh, that's actually funny. Whereas, I mean, as I've previously stated, and most people will know, I laugh at everything. So I still find everything in that movie funny. But even like that thing is like, Johnny, the most annoying sound in the world.
You're right there. Like I agree. Like, and I think that I've been guilty of in the past as well. But I love that the film shamelessly embraces just like, hey, like anything can be funny, and it doesn't need to be clever. And not to say the film isn't clever. I think it's a hard premise to execute. Like something so ridiculous and silly. Like you need to have some creativity to make it work because it could just be dumb and not funny at all. But I really love the embracing of that. I was talking to my wife the other day because my daughter has now discovered that farts are funny. She's 2.5. Which to me, I'm like, yes, like, all right, good, because I still find them funny. Like, I know I shouldn't,
think they're hilarious.
but if anyone does a fart, like in my vicinity, I'm just like, that's hilarious. Like, immediately just start laughing. And my daughter's picked up on it now. So now when she does it, I literally had to take her to the bathroom the other day, and like because she's toilet training at the moment, and she's sitting there, she's doing her wee, and then she does this really big fart, and she goes, "Daddy, I did a fart." And I was like, "You're hilarious."
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. High five. Well, wash your hands first and then high five. But so yeah, I love that. I love that about Dumb and Dumber. Like it just embraces the idea of like, hey, silly is funny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's like there's no malice like or disdain behind it. It's just again, like it harkens back to childhood innocence. But even through them, because at the level they are children. That like they just don't get it. The ransomers broke into their apartment and cut their bird's head off, and Lloyd's like and Lloyd just didn't get that happened. He's like, someone broke into our apartment. Our bird's head to fly off. Like it's just so stupid, but you can't not laugh at it because of just how silly and wacky it is, and that's why I think I fell in love with Jim Carrey at the time, like Dumb and Dumber, and like The Mask. He's just always been like one of my favorite actors, and I'm glad he's kind of brought it back with something like Sonic.
I haven't seen the second one yet, which apparently is quite good. But I saw the first one, and I really enjoyed him in the first one.
Me too. Yeah, it wasn't just crazy Jim Carrey. Like he had little snippets of it, but he played the character very well.
I actually enjoy. I know I just said before he's not my favorite actor, but like more and more over time recently, I've noticed something like even like a film that didn't get a lot of positive reviews was The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, which is the Steve Carell magician film. And it's not like redefining comedy, but like Jim Carrey as like a Chris Angel illusionist was so funny to me. And now like in a world where we're kind of like rebooting and sequelizing years later, I'm kind of like, hey, like is there room for a sequel to Batman Forever with like an old Riddler played by Jim Carrey.
That'd be awesome.
I'm down
in
with
that lycra costume.
Yeah, well, no, because it had to be leather now. Like they'd have to do that. Like it'd be like a motorcycle jack and this like all gruff and stuff like that. Doing his Bruce Stern impression. Have you ever seen him? Like that'd be so good.
I'm gonna get sued for this, but in Batman Forever, who was the actor that played Two-Face?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
That's it. Like apparently he hated Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I heard that. Well, I was reading up. I say notoriously, but I didn't know until I read about it. He's kind of a difficult actor to work with, Tommy Lee Jones. I think he's.
No, really.
Yeah, apparently he can be. Like, it's not with everyone, but he's a bit old school, and like I think he just kind of gets impatient and stuff. And I think
bit gruff.
Yeah, and I think like Jim Carrey's kind of like had this newfound fame. He was fresh. He was kind of the hot new thing, and it kind of feels like almost. I don't know whether it was always meant to be a two-villain movie or whether they're like, oh, we can get Jim Carrey, let's pigeonhole him. It kind of felt like maybe it was taking some spotlight away from him as well, because also Tommy Lee Jones, I think, is top billed. Like he's probably the biggest actor in that movie. So then to be like, oh, there's new kids coming in, he's saying Joygasm and dancing around in spandex. Like,
Batman Forever, is that the one with Mr. Freeze and
no, that's Batman and Robin. So Penguin's in the second one. Riddler and Two-Face is the third one, and then Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze and Bane are in the fourth one.
Oh gosh, they're all in one movie in my brain.
Do you know what's fun? There's so much. I know so much true about that series because I love that series. I think it's like criminally underrated because people just like, oh, Nolan. Look, I love Nolan, but like enjoy where it came from. Enjoy the. 90s.
I actually like. I love obviously the Nolan trilogy, and I love the Batman that's just come out, but. I love those movies as a kid, and like there's some obviously dark themes that flew straight over my head, but just like the costuming and like the characters that they were playing were so cool to me.
Oh, definitely. Like they it's a nostalgia overdose. Just like, oh my god, like 90s color and crazy. Like I love all that stuff. Like originally, before Chris O'Donnell was cast, it was meant to be Marlon Wayans. He was meant to be Robin.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, that would have been fascinating.
That would have been cool.
And then there was a fifth film planned. I can't remember what it was called now. It was like Batman Unhinged or something. But it was like there were three villains again. It was Scarecrow, it was Mad Hatter, and then Harley Quinn was going to make her debut because Harley Quinn had been created a few years earlier.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
But she was going to be the Joker's daughter instead of the Joker's girlfriend. So like Jack Nicholson's daughter. That's what it was going to be. And like, I'm just like, man, like it would have been so dumb, but I really want to see it. Like, because I unashamedly love Batman and Robin, like to the point of ridicule. I had a couple of guys in the last episode from the US, Kevin and Jason. They host a show called Midnight Terrors, and Jason's a huge Batman fan. I was like, look, man, like say what you will. I love that film. He's like, no, you're wrong. I'm like, you're telling me that if they were going to do a 20 years later sequel with the same cast from Batman and Robin, you wouldn't watch it? Like with a gruff, grizzled Mr. Freeze played by Arnie. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'd watch it, but I don't think I'd like it. I was like, you're crazy. Like, that'd be amazing. Like,
yeah, no,
but I get it. Like, it's, different. Like, everyone's into different stuff. So I get why he wouldn't, but I don't know. I'd be down with all that. Like, just sequelize all those films. We're getting Michael Keaton back as Batman, at least for one movie. So, give me more of that. We got distracted again, but Dumb and Dumber led to all roads lead to Batman, as this show has proven time and time again. I think that's a great first pick. And again, like we got two films here that no one's talked about yet, which is always exciting. Because I'll talk about the same films over and over again, but I love some variety. Gabs, what is number 4 for you?
So number 4 for me again was one that I could interchange with for a certain actor that I could have interchanged with a few of their movies, but I landed on The Wedding Singer.
What a great movie!
I've not seen it. What's this?
So it's like I love this era of Adam Sandler. I think it's just peak Adam Sandler this era because you have The Wedding Singer, Big Daddy, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore.
Oh, was Happy Gilmore 90s? I thought it was early 2000s.
Happy Gilmore was like Happy Gilmore's before Wedding Singer.
I think yeah, it's even earlier. Yeah, so I'm not sure if Mr. Deeds is in there, but I think even Little Nicky's in there as well.
Little Nicky, I think, is 2001, and Mr. Deeds is 2003. Mr. Deeds is another underrated flick.
I love that movie.
Like
But
John
I think-
Turturro as the butler is so
Yeah,
good.
I know. When they do that like echo scene, he's like,
Very, very
"Oh."
sneaky. I'll be honest, like you were just talking about cease before. The amount of times I either say, "Do you write your cards with a crayon?" or "Genius, genius." Like,
Yeah. So I mean, like, as I said, like I love all of those movies. It's very reminiscent of like movies that I would watch like as a kid. Happy Gilmore, especially. Sorry, Billy Madison, where they're doing that like decathlon thing, and he's like, "That you have just made everyone in the room more stupider." Everyone in the room is more stupid
That
after
having heard you speak, yeah.
And I think that all the time, actually. But yeah, like The Wedding Singer, is one movie that I think like my mom used to love, so we used to watch it all the time. You've got very early Drew Barrymore.
Mm-hmm.
She's so cute in that movie.
Yeah, that's literally the word I was thinking of as well. I'm like, it's that relationship is very cute.
They're so sweet, and like they're still friends.
Well, they're about to do like their fourth film together. I think they were saying they're about to do like another pair up. So
they did like I think it was like 50 First Dates, and also
50 First Dates is another great underrated film.
Very good movie, and
that
then
ending
they did,
destroys me every time.
I know. And then they do that. There was like a split family one where like
that was a blended. I think it was.
Yeah.
I never watched it because the trailer was ridiculous. I'm like, hang on, so two families have nothing to do with each other are going on safari and have to live together.
Yeah, it's like it's fun. It's like
I'm sure
it's
it is.
fun.
Like again, like when I saw that trailer, big time snob. Like I'm sure now I'd love it.
But yeah, so I just think it's such a sweet movie, and like the songs from it. I used to have the first one where he's like, I was listening to a lot of The Cure when I wrote this.
Yeah.
And
is it the Linda song? When I think
me play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have that as my ringtone. Kill me, I want to die.
Fun kid.
Which sounds, like such a vibe, doesn't it? But yeah, I just thought that was so funny. And then like at the end, they've got like, Billy Idol in the plane.
It's so good, yeah.
And he's like on the like the intercom
Since
thing.
we pretty much let our celebrity guests do whatever they want. Like
exactly.
Or VI first class passengers do whatever they want.
And then just even just silly stuff like Julia Gulia.
I was about to say Julia Gulia.
Why is that funny? Why is that funny? Because like initially, as the story goes, like he's in a band, but the band didn't really turn out, so he sings at weddings, and he's due to get married, and he meets a new girl like working at the wedding function, says he's going to sing at her wedding, and then he gets left at the altar because his fiance doesn't like want to marry just a wedding singer. So then he like falls into a depression. And Drew Barrymore's character is Julia, but she's going to marry someone whose last name is Gulia.
Yeah.
And so she should be Mrs. Julia Gulia.
Played by Greg Kinnear, who is such a wonderful villain.
He's really good at playing like a dick.
He also plays the dad in Little Miss Sunshine. I've heard of Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah.
Like that's such an unlikable character. Like he's meant to like because he thinks he's genuinely like a nice guy, and he's just the opposite. He's just so cruel and mean. But I love it. Like I love how they've got George, who only knows the one song. Like,
do you really want to hurt me? And then like they're like, okay, like because I think like he's like, oh yeah, you take over. I got to go do something.
Yeah.
And so he starts singing, and then he goes, do you really want to make me cry? And then like they still haven't come back, so he starts it again.
Yeah, he only knows the one song. I think I could be getting the band wrong, but when he's like, take off my Van Halen t-shirt before they break up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Van Halen, or it might be like
it's a band that did
yeah,
break up. Like it's a
yeah,
band that
yeah,
didn't break up.
yeah.
Also, like we were talking about quoting before, that moment where like John Lovitz is watching the audition is like, and I'm reaping all the benefits. Like that's another one that I throw around a lot at home.
Oh, I think I can't remember the song he sings, but like they're like all these auditions and it's so bad, and they're like, oh, like no, thank you.
Is this also the one where the grandma is the rapping grandma? Is this I said a hip?
No, I don't think it's when he's giving her.
She's doing piano lessons. He pays her in
lessons.
meatballs. She pays him in meatballs. Yeah.
Yes. And then he's like, "Oh no, it's okay." She's like, "No, but they're just for you. Have a try." And he's like, "Oh, okay, really good."
It's a flick I haven't seen in a couple of years, but it's so good. Like it's peak.
It's funny, but it's also sweet, and it's also like you get that little like that like full physical reaction of the like no when he sees her like in the window and he's like going to tell her how he feels and he thinks that she's like excited about marrying Glenn. So you're like no. But yeah, the ending's lovely, and I think like I don't know anyone who dislikes that movie. So
it's good, Andre. Like you said, you haven't seen it. Like it's I haven't watched it in a couple of years, but the last time I watched it would have been like no more than 5 years ago, and it's still held up. Like it's really fun. Like, and it just fits. It's like peak Adam Sandler. Like it's from that generation. And he's done some pretty good stuff lately. Like I really liked Uncut Gems, and I liked a couple. I haven't watched too much of his modern comedies, but like stuff pops up and he's all right. But like. This is from like that era where everyone loved Adam Sandler, and it's just like you really put it right, Gabby. It's not just a funny, it's insanely sweet. Like it's really well written rom com, but like isn't afraid to get a little bit like dirty, like not dirty like not 40-year-old virgin dirty, but like doesn't mind getting a little bit nasty and kind of breaking the rules of rom coms a little bit, which is good.
Yeah,
it's like a boy rom com in a way.
Yeah, like one that's not too like Notting Hill.
Yeah. Oh, there's anything wrong with those either. Like I come around a big old softie now, but yeah, it's really enjoyable. Adam Sandler makes it, and you've got all the usual suspects, like all of his mates that show up in all of them are like the band members and stuff like that. Yeah, and Christine Taylor, Ben Stiller's wife, plays the sister, and she's going through a real like Madonna phase. And she's really fun as well. Like, cause she try to hook up with Robbie at one point. Like, yeah, we should double date.
They go on the double date, and then that's when Glenn tells him that like he's gonna like try and pick up another woman, and like he plans on like sort of keeping his options open even when they're married. And so that's when we're like, ugh, Glenn. We hate Glenn.
Yeah, he's a real prick. Yeah, you dig it, I reckon. Like it's really fun. Which brings us to that's a great choice. I'm so glad. Like no one's brought up Wedding Singer. I don't think we've had any Adam Sandler yet for the '90s, which is shocking.
What?
I know. We got to jump into Andre's next one because like we've got to do this show quickly. We've been talking for an hour, and it's only 3 movies in. Go for it, Andre.
So I had a different Disney movie, which is my personal favorite of all time, but I already have it on another list. But this is a very close second, and that's Hercules.
What a great flick! I like that you were like, you know what? I have talked about a film I liked before, so I'm going to move. I was talking to Tina about that. I'm like, I like variety. I like to mix it up. So, no criticism for anyone who doubles up, but I like doing variety. So, this is a great flick, and I'm more endeared to it now because my daughter loves. Zero to Hero, like it's one of her favorite songs. So.
Oh, such a good, yeah.
I love the muses; they're so beautiful.
Yeah, like every like 99% of all the old school Disney songs slap.
Yeah,
but
that means it's cool.
It's fire. Is that right? Is that what they say?
Yeah,
it's lit.
No cap.
Yeah, it's quite lit.
Oh. God.
Oh, like side point, I hate new school lingo, but that just means I'm getting old and grumpy.
Yeah, it does.
I work with young 20s at my work, and they know it pisses me off. So they're just like, on God, like for real, cap no cap, and I'm just like,
What are you even saying?
I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like, they're talking like The Dark Knight Returns. I don't know if you've ever read the comic or seen the animated film, but there's this seminal Batman story from the 80s written by Frank Miller called The Dark Knight Returns. And his vision of the future was like this gang called the Mutants, and they all have like spikes and chains, and they wear like looks like Cyclops eyes and stuff.
yeah.
But they talk in like this weird like new language of like slice and dice, no gash. Like they talk and like literally the words you say there, I'm like, they sound like the mutants from like from Dark Knight Returns, which honestly I'm not even disappointed by. Like that's kind of like cap no cap. I'm like, that is the mutants. Anyway, sorry.
Back to Hercules.
Fantastic movie. James Woods is hilarious as Hades. Like everything that comes out of Hades' mouth is
he's a guy.
Come on, he's a guy. He's just so good. His two little minions are great. And animation is fantastic.
Gorgeous animation, like so different to anything we'd seen before with Disney.
Like even the clouds, how they have a different animation to the characters. Like, and it almost looks more 3D rendered than hand drawn. Which I did really well. Like I said, like the muses are great. I love Meg. She just wasn't a typical Disney princess, which was so like, okay, again, this isn't kid brain talking. This is like more adult rewatching it talking. But yeah, she was so different. She wasn't harking over our protagonist from the get go.
She's a very refreshing, strong female character for Disney, and I don't think Disney has been like lacking in strong female characters. I think once you kind of get to the 90s forward, like, is Ariel that strong? No, not really. But like Nala is great. Mulan obviously is great. Jasmine is great. Like from the 90s forward, we've had a nice Barbaros, but this is different. She's like wisecracking. She doesn't take any crap. She's just like, it's not just that she's strong, but she can hold her own in a conversation, and doesn't let people kind of talk all over and stuff. She's fantastic. I also loved. We talked about the muses a few times. The first time I saw it in my like late 20s, early 30s. And I was like, why are they singing gospel? And then I was like, oh, because gods, like it's a religious thing. Like, and I was like, that's genius. Like, I love that.
It's great. And also I like that they're all like, it sounds so stupid, but at that time, if you think of the 90s and you think about like famous women and quote unquote beautiful women of the 90s, you think about supermodels. So your Naomi
it was the
Campbell,
Kate Moss era. Like it was
the Kate Moss era. You turn sideways and you don't see them. Like that's who you think about at that time, and they were all different body shapes. Also, women of color, and as you said, like obviously when you think about gospel women or gospel music, you think about women of color. But I just thought it was sort of a bit forward for its like a bit before its time because. Yeah, like it's not, and they're dressed all like in the goddess stuff, and it is really beautiful. But to have different representation, and then they're not the main characters, but they do show up quite a lot.
Definitely,
it's sort of, I don't know. I really like that aspect of it, and they were like almost my favorite part of that movie because like they were singing the song, so it was the fun part.
They do unfortunately have what I would say is one of the worst written lines of any Disney song, and that's they slapped his face on every vase on every vase. It's like, okay, like you could have done another draft. But sure, like, my wife hates that line. I never noticed that she pointed out. I'm like, oh, that is poorly written. Like, yeah, you could have done something else, but
just destroy the entire movie for me, James.
no, like it's because that song is still brilliant. Like even with that line, it's such a fun song. And what is it? There's that line. It's like a perfect moment in that song. I talk about this with my wife sometimes, and I think it's just me being pretentious. But every now and then you'll hear music, and like just everything comes together, and like, oh, this is like a moment where like everything is perfect. And for me, it happens in Zero to Hero, and it's when they hit the line breakneck speed. Like it's towards the very end. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is. I'm like, oh, like this is the culmination of this one. This is the highest point. Like it leaves me like a little bit breathless. I'm like, yeah, they nailed it. Like everything there came together. I don't know if this makes sense what I'm talking about. For me, like I hear
No,
things
I
sometimes,
get it.
and you get like a single pure moment, like that was perfect. So yeah, and I don't have any other Disney songs, to the best of my knowledge, that does that. So yeah, every vase is a lazy line, but you've got that great breakneck speed moment, so I'm here for it.
Exactly. Like, and they made Danny DeVito a tiny, sleazy Jewish center. It was like just such a great casting. All the characters are just fantastic.
He's like isn't he a fawn?
Yeah, I think it's a
Oh,
fawn.
sorry, a fawn.
Yeah.
I knew what you were saying. I knew exactly what you were talking about it, even though I knew what you were talking about.
Call me Phil.
They like. It feels like the sidekicks of the '90s could have all been played by Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Like, there's a gargoyle in Hunchback. One of the sidekicks in Mulan, like the one who's like the only one who loves him is Martha. Like that could have been that could have been Danny DeVito. Like,
Danny DeVito.
like it's not. That's Harvey Fierstein, but it could have been Danny DeVito. Like, it's a good flick, and I'm glad we got some animation on the board as well. But yeah, that movie has resonated with me in a new way now that I have a daughter, because she like loves it. Like she did a couple. She loves that. She loves Mulan, and she loves Frozen. So, which I'm taking her to see in the cinemas this weekend. Actually, Frozen comes back to theaters, so we're doing that. And then the day after, Kill Bill comes back, like for 4.5 hours.
And that's the next one in the kids' cinema with the slide.
Yeah. I saw Halloween Ends in the kids' cinema with the slide. So,
I was gonna say I went to a festival recently, and it was like this big, like LGBTQ plus festival.
I saw the pictures online. Yeah,
and at the last day there was a guy who was doing like a act dressed as Pam Anderson from Baywatch, and so it was like a whole thing about like them going to like rescue some guy in the water or whatever. And he sang Go the Distance, and he was really good. And like halfway through the song I realized what he was singing, and like everybody who was sitting like on the grass had also started joining in, and it was like this whole like choir, and I was like, oh my gosh, like all of us, like we're all clearly at least over the age of 25 singing Hercules on a Sunday like afternoon in the sun, all dressed in like festival wear, and this man is like standing on a stage in a high cut like red one piece in a blonde wig. Like it was perfect. And so I think like that it's a movie that anyone can enjoy. I don't like there's not really much to pick apart about it. Like, is it mythically accurate? No, but shut up.
Yeah, but like how accurate are the myths? Like,
well, that's why they're called myths.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's just an adaptation of a story that someone else told.
Right.
Like, I won't get more controversial than that. I could keep going into this, but it feels like dangerous territory, and we're a fun show, so we're not going to go down there. Excellent. Number 3, Gabs. What is on your list?
So it has been mentioned during this show, but my number 3 is Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
She stole from me.
I didn't steal. I made up my list before you.
You do Ace Ventura. I'll do.
Well, he's like, oh, what have you got? And I'm like, oh, Ace Ventura. He's like, no.
You could have both done it, but that's fine.
Yeah. So,
now this is not the one where he gets stuck in the elephant, is it?
That's
number
2.
So I think I've only seen the second one. So.
Oh, the first one I think is
so good.
superior. The second one is really funny.
The second one's I'm the Monopoly guy. I do not pass codes. Yeah, like,
but it's a lot of that like quick humor. Now, I just said that I was at this like festival. There is a very transphobic storyline in this movie.
Sure.
Which I don't condone. At the time, I think, I mean, it's very
90s.
yeah, it's very
much a
of
product
its
of its
time.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like sort of related, but not. I was reminded on TikTok recently of that show. Like, there's something about Miriam. And it was basically this game show where there was a trans woman who, you know,
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like these men were in a competition to go on a date with her,
and they didn't know that she was trans.
And they didn't know that she was trans, and she tells them at the end, and like the whole show, it's like the end of the show is like them being grossed out and like embarrassing her, and like everybody loses, I guess. And so you know, at the end of Ace Ventura, they find out who the criminal is, and they've sort of been under the nose at the whole time because it's not who you think it is. And so I don't really love that part of it. But that part of it aside, the movie is so quotable. He's just so zany and weird. And like Courtney Cox plays like the sort of love interest at the time, but she also like she gets so fed up with him as well. She's like, oh my gosh, shut up. why are you like this? And so there's this like there's a part where he's so like the premise is, you know, he's a pet detective, he finds people's missing pets. But the mascot for the Miami Dolphins goes missing like right before the Super Bowl.
Who was an actual dolphin?
Who was an actual dolphin.
Yeah.
And so he's like, he gets in the tank and he starts making noises like he's in a submarine. He's like, captain's log. And then he starts talking about like what's going on. And then he's like in the tank and they're like, get out. And because I've drained it. And he says, I can't do it, Captain. I don't have the power. And I say it all the time. Like every time someone asks me to do something I don't want to do, I just say that. And like there's at the start, he's got like he's like renting an apartment, and his landlord comes over. He's like, I heard dogs, I heard animals. I told you no animals. He's like, do you like look in my apartment? Do you see any animals? No. And then he like slams the door in his face, and it's like right next to his nose. He's like, loser. And, like, I always say that. I say it to kids all the time when they're being real rat bags. I'm like, loser. And then afterwards, all these animals, like wild animals, just come out of like the woodwork, like from like all these little hiding spaces, and he's sort of standing there kind of like Cinderella with all the birds and stuff, and they all just flock to him, and he's like, oh.
It's just such a quotable movie.
Yeah, it's
like a glove.
Yeah, when you like because at the start there's like, this is like a criminal, and he's like bashing the window. So he's like, his windscreen is completely gone, like not gone, but like all smashed. So he's driving with his head out the window. And then like when he parks his car, it's like into like this car park, but like it was like a stunt to get in there.
Yeah.
And so every time I reverse parallel park, I say it. Which I'm actually very good at, subtle brag. But yeah, like when he like he says, hey loser, but like he also goes from that to lahu zaho, which I also like saying. Or like there's a scene where they go to this like millionaire's house, and he's trying to find whether he's got the dolphin, and he has like,
I know exactly what you're about to say.
He has like a shark tank, and he gets like stuck in the shark tank, and like he has to escape, and like all his clothes get ripped and stuff. And so but the way that he like got into there, like spying through his house, was going into the bathroom and locking the door. So he comes back out of the bathroom, he's soaking wet, like dripping, and he walks out. He's like, "Do not go in there!" Woo! Woo! And like wags his hand behind his butt, like as if he's destroyed it. And sometimes that phrase gets thrown around my house. So like it's very fun, it's very silly. But yeah, it's just again, it's peak 90s. Jim Carrey, and like even just his hair like is so stupid. And so like
that's the
often,
iconic Jim Carrey look to me. Like that's the hair I think of, even though like he probably only had his hair like that for those movies. Like that's the haircut that I always think of when I think of Jim Carrey.
That's his natural cut.
Or like even like when he gets something like they're making fun of him and he's like like mocking their laugh. Like I do that all the time. So yeah, it's very fun. I remember distinctly I'd seen it before, but I remember watching it, I think like early high school, and there was like an earthquake and the TV started like rocking back and forth with Ace Ventura playing. And so like dad, like it was a new TV, like we'd gone from like the box TV to like having a plasma, like a flat screen TV. It was very special. And dad's like, "Quick, get it!" And so we both like ran up to the TV to hold it because it started shaking. And then like I remember running out onto the road, and all the neighbors were out on the road. We never spoke to each other. I don't know, maybe it's an American thing to be friends with your neighbors, because we certainly have never been. Maybe like one neighbor that we were ever friends with in my whole life. But everyone's like, "Oh my God, did you feel that? Did you feel that?" So yeah, like a movie, I think my dad showed me this movie, and anytime it's on, I'll watch it. I'll watch it if I'm like in a bad mood, because it's just so silly that I just laugh at everything. But yeah, I love it.
I showed it to my little sister for the first time like 5 years ago, and she would have been 16 at the time, and she absolutely loved it. I think it's the same as I did. Like, what's that one scene where he's interrupting an investigation, and the inspector chick goes up to him, and she's like, how would you like me to make your life a living hell? And like, and he's like, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm not really ready for a relationship now, Lois."
Yes, that's so funny.
Yeah.
That's a solid pick. And again, like sold me on it. Like I mean, I've always been mean to check it out, but now like I'm on board. So I got some Jim Carrey to catch up on, which would be good. Well, actually, I've seen Dumb and Dumber, but I'll have to catch up on that one and Pretty Woman. Andre, you're number 3.
Throw it into it. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Yes.
Terminator 2.
Fantastic movie. Probably, I think it may have been my first Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, maybe.
Wow.
I don't quite remember.
Not Batman and Robin?
Anything before? No. I remember watching that afterwards. Yeah. That like as far back like as I can remember, that's probably my first like big action movie. I'm sure that like there were ones before it, but it's the first real one that actually comes to mind. So many fantastic scenes, and you know the whole story of like of the Terminator being a surrogate for for John's dad. Like was just so touching, and again, I'm horrible with actors' names, but the actor that plays the other Terminator, the one that
Robert Patrick.
Yeah, that one. He can shift into metal. His blank expression throughout the entire movie it sells you that he is a robot, like, and he's nothing else. It's a killing machine.
One of my favorite pieces of trivia is apparently Robert Patrick practiced running like that time and time again, so he would be able to run like that without breaking a sweat. because a robot wouldn't sweat. So like apparently like he just trained and trained and trained for that like one short scene, so that he was like, look, a robot's not going to sweat, so I can't sweat. So I've got to get myself into the physical condition where I can do that run, at least for one shot. That crazy physical stuff that actors like Hugh Jackman do, where it's like, hey, it's called acting, just like act like it.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And that scene where he's chasing John on his motorbike around the car park, because he was running so damn fast, and that they actually had to tell him to speed the bike up.
Wow. Cool.
Because they had to shoot the shot originally with the bike slower, because a camera is only so fast back in those days. But because he was running so fast, they had to adjust the setting. Which I thought was really great. And that that truck chase scene through I guess they'd be called waterways.
I know what you're talking about. Where they did like the grease racing as well, like in like the canals that are that's awesome. I love all that stuff. I think that's all really cool. And you're right, like to turn the Terminator into a father figure, just the idea of taking this villain from the first one, making him a hero in the second one. Because I'm in the minority, I prefer 1 to 2 when it comes to Terminator. I think that first one is like, obviously, like I don't think it's underrated because people love it, but I prefer it to number 2. But yeah, 2's got so many iconic scenes and lines, and it's a pretty entertaining flick and definitely holds up still.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say I have seen it, but I've seen it one time, and I saw it when I was a kid, probably like 6 or 7. Obviously not when it was meant for me. But I remember watching it at like my cousin's grandma's house, so not the grandma that I'm related to, but their other one. So yeah, I don't remember much of it, but I'll Be Back. Is that in all of the Terminator movies or just that one?
It's in a couple of them. I think it started in 2, but I'm pretty sure it showed up in Genesis, because Genesis is a direct sequel to 2. I mean, I've been pretty open and honest on the show that I have issues with number 2. Like, I'm trying not to talk negatively about it because A, we don't do that here, but B, it's on your list. I think that 2 has room for editing. I think it's too long. I think there's a lot of time with Edward Furlong in the desert crying, and we can just cut some of that out. But that being said, like, there's no denying like how strong the action scenes are, how good those twists are as well. And the visual effects, like for its time, like still hold up, which is incredible. And that opening credit scene of just like the skulls being crushed, like it's so good. So whilst it's not my favorite, I have talked. I've talked about it in that it's not my favorite. There's definitely some really wonderful stuff in that film as well.
Because I only saw the first Terminator about 2 years ago. And still a fantastic movie. The stop motion of the Terminator in the first one did kind of get me a little bit. But that's because I'm so used to more fluid motion by now. But I'm sure at the time that would have been terrifying.
Yeah.
Same in the same vein as the original Aliens movie, in the fact that nowadays that's not really that scary, but back then when that movie came out, that would have been very scary.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I also prefer Alien to Aliens. I know it's a James Cameron thing, but I just prefer the originals. What'd you say, Gabby?
You're such a hater.
No, I'm not a hater, because I rewatched Aliens recently, and whilst it's still doesn't hold a candle to Alien for me, I could definitely appreciate it more. And I'm due for a rewatch of Terminator 2. And like Titanic, I love. I think Titanic's great. So I'm not a James Cameron hater. I just I don't know. Like, I just don't buy into the way that everyone else does. But no, like, it is a good flick. I'm not disputing that.
As a kid, I thought young John Connor was just like the coolest thing ever. He had a dirt bike. He had the cool haircut. He was stealing money from ATMs.
He had the glasses,
Yeah.
the jacket.
Yeah, like I was like, wow, I want to be just like him. Not being hunted and possibly murdered by a killing machine, but yeah, just the young angsty.
I just really want his outfit.
Teenager vibe. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I just want to look like him, but like be nice to people. But yeah.
It's another great pick, and it's one that again hasn't shown up yet. None of your movies that you've picked so far have shown up at all yet. And Terminator 2, I thought was going to definitely show up. But I'm glad
I got it first.
You did it, absolutely. Fantastic. We are getting to the pointy end, as we say. Gabby, what's your number 2?
So my number 2 is Boys in the Hood.
Yes. Oh my goodness, what a great flick.
So like I'm a big Ice Cube fan.
What?
So I watched this movie because it had Ice Cube in it, and I was like not pleasantly surprised because I thought I didn't think it would be bad, just because creatively speaking, Ice Cube is like fantastic. He has a brilliant mind and just a really good vision for things. I will not touch Are We There Yet? Everybody,
it's so good.
but I won't touch it in terms of like talking about it because I've not seen it, but I just think that era of Ice Cube is just fantastic. So yeah, I watched it for the first time probably about while I was still in high school. And
I watched it for high school.
Oh, really?
I think it was for English. We watched it.
Okay.
I actually haven't watched it since then. It's definitely overdue, but I watched it for high school, and like our English teacher got some major points that day. So this is great.
Yeah.
And it gets a little shout out in Straight Outta Compton. I only just watched Straight Outta Compton recently.
Yes.
And at one point it's like I saw Boys in the Hood. Like I loved it. I was like, oh cool, like nice little reference.
Yeah. So for those who haven't seen it, it's like kind of like a coming of age sort of story where it focuses on like a few, like 3-4 sort of central characters. But like the main character, he initially lives with his mum, but goes live with his dad after being a little bit difficult at school. Like the teachers are saying, there's no doubt that he's intelligent, but he just like doesn't really like authority, and he needs some help. And so the mum, who's actually played by Angela Bassett,
well, I know how you feel about her.
I love her. She sends him to live with his dad, who is good old Larry Fishburne.
Love him.
Morpheus. Just in a different movie, which is so weird because I feel like in The Matrix he looks way older than he does in Boys in the Hood.
Well, it was 8 years later, so
8 years. I tell you what, 8 years ago, I don't think I looked that much different to how I look now.
You would have been like 19, so 18, 19.
I still get asked for ID, James.
It's why I don't shave anymore, because I'll get carded as well.
Yeah.
So, like, I just,
maybe not now. Now I look a bit rough.
Yeah, so it was just weird. I was like, God, like he looks way younger. Like not just like 5-10 years younger. Like he looks, a good 20-30 years younger. And it might be the facial hair. It might be, I guess, like the budget of the film potentially. Like, things are a little bit more HD in The Matrix. I'm not sure. But goes to live with his dad to teach him, how to be a man and all that sort of stuff. And he goes to live in sort of a bit more of a rough neighborhood. Although where he comes from as well, there's like they're walking home from school and they go and past a crime scene. There's like blood on the floor and stuff. But yeah, she sends him to live with his dad in a more rough neighborhood, and he's like back with his like childhood friends. So there's Doughboy, who's later played by Ice Cube, and like Ricky and their other friend, and I think it's like
I just looked it up. Between Angela Bassett, Lawrence Fishburne, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Ice Cube, like there's 10 years between them.
Yeah.
Like Lawrence Fishburne is only about 7 years older than Ice Cube and Cuba Gooding Jr., and Angela Bassett's only got a couple of years on Lawrence Fishburne. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's just like it's so weird what they can do with like just costuming and makeup and it's not like they've got like prosthetics or anything on, but just like the way that they dress people can make you look so much like can age you or make you look a lot younger. But yeah, so the first night, like a guy breaks into the house and Lawrence Fishburne like tries to shoot him, but he misses. The police take forever to get there, and then the police that they're dealing with, like there's a like an African American cop and like a white cop, and the African American one's like really like hostile towards them, and the white guy's like trying to be a bit more understanding. And so he's like, "Have we got a problem?" And he's like, "Yeah, like we do have a problem. It's just like a shame that you don't see it." Because like it's sort of like you're perpetuating this problem that we have going on here, again, like violence against people of color amongst each other as well. Because the person who broke in was an African American man. You see him for like a split second. Anyway, you know, later, like the next day, his friends get in trouble with the police for stealing. And then there's like a time jump to when they're in like, you know, the end of high school, like applying for college and stuff like that. And they have a welcome home party for Doughboy, who's Ice Cube's character, has just come out of jail. And the mum makes us like a comment saying, you know, to our main character, who's played by Cuba Gooding Jr., you know, you got to keep him out of there. Like, I want him to be more like you, you know, breathe some sense into him. And his stepbrother, whose name is Ricky, he's like this football star now. So he's trying to apply for like sports scholarships to get into like a good college. So now that they're older, we have, you know, Doughboy's just come out of jail. Ricky, who's like clearly the favorite of their mum. They both have different dads, but like they live in the same house. Ricky's girlfriend lives with them because they have a baby. Another sort of, I guess, like stereotype of like African American men at the time is just like having a lot of kids with women, or like I just get not having protected sex. And they do go over that as well with our main characters. Like the dad's makes a point of being like, "Oh, you better be like being safe, you know. I was only 17 when I got your mother pregnant, blah, 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 blah." So like they talk about that. It's a lot of like lessons that you learn, I guess, as a teenager growing up, but set in the context of African American people growing up at that time in that area.
Yeah.
And they address a lot of quite tough issues that I think at that time, I guess people wish that by this time we wouldn't have the same issues. Unfortunately, America is America, and I say that with love to all your American fans.
Our fan base is growing. Look, it's almost 20% now of listeners from the US.
Yeah,
so.
and you know, I'm sure, you know, they're all lovely people, but unfortunately, the state at the moment, this stuff still happens. So it does have a pretty unfortunate ending, and I won't give it away for those who haven't seen it. But this sort of came out, I'm pretty sure, right? I'm not sure if it was before or after the Rodney King thing.
It was 91. I can't remember when the Rodney King thing happened, but 91 is when the movie came out.
But it's all sort of around the same, at least within the same 10 years. So like the idea of like police brutality, like corruption within the police, just the police's attitudes towards African American, especially men at the time, is quite contentious, and Ice Cube has been quite outspoken about that, especially at that time. So yeah, like I really do like the movie. It's not something that makes me feel good, but I think it is a movie that I would encourage people to watch, because it is told in the perspective of people who actually go through that, rather than like to put a without being silly, like to put a white lens on things and have this like white savior in the movie. They don't have one in this movie. So
I would put it in the same vein, and they're not really alike at all, but I would put it in the same kind of category almost as like American History X.
yeah,
Where it's, and like
those two were sort of like, again, interchangeable. I wanted to either one, but I think I've already talked about American History X before.
Yeah, we have.
So
'Cause we talked about the grocery
yeah.
store scene, which is so upsetting.
Yes, yeah,
Like,
yeah. So that's why I think I picked this one instead.
Yeah, and I would say the movies aren't really similar. Like, obviously, I mean, there's I guess the discussion of race up to a certain extent in Boys in the Hood, definitely very prevalent in American History X, but it's not like they're both about the same thing. But in terms of the feeling you get watching thematically, like it's just a general discomfort and kind of like concern to sort of like, geez, like this is just full on.
I think
and
the design
they
that
don't
way.
have it, and they don't have a nice feeling at the end of them. Yeah.
I think they're not designed that way on purpose. They're meant to make you feel uncomfortable. They're meant to be confronting.
Yes.
They're meant to make
I
you
don't want to
think.
meet the person who was like, "Man, American History X. Let's put that on." Like, who's in for a good night? Let's
like some poor unsuspecting fool. Like, let's Netflix and chill. That's not chill.
Yeah,
there's no chill about it.
American History X and chill.
But yeah, I think I've like the other three movies that I've already talked about. They're all fun movies. The next one I'll talk about is a fun movie, but I think there are a lot of movies made in the 90s that were not created for funness. They're brilliant talking pieces, and that's just my favorite one of them.
Yeah, no, definitely, that's a solid one. I was just looking over my list because I haven't done my list yet. I think all of mine are fun, but again, like we are 7 for 7. Like, this is not a single film that's come up previously, so this is a will Andre blow it and then repeat it? No, just kidding.
Crap. My next one's quite well known because it's done by Stephen King. Well, it's based off a Stephen King novel, but The Green Mile.
Have we done Green Mile? I don't think we have. We're doing well.
Sorry to anyone listening with headphones.
I just rewatched The Green Mile last year for the first time in a long, long time, and my biggest concern was, this is over 3 hours long. This could be a chore. Not at all.
Not a chore.
It never it just works. It shouldn't work, and it just works so well. I'd put it like on the same level as like a Shawshank Redemption, which I don't think is a huge stretch. I'm sure people might be like, "Oh, how'd you come up with that?" Like, prison. Pardon me. 3 hour prison films. I'll let you guys talk while I die.
Well, I only watched The Green Mile in the past. It would have been in the past 5 years. And like you, when I saw it, when I saw the runtime, I was like, oh God. But I love Shawshank Redemption. It's another one by Stephen King. So I thought I give it a try, and I absolutely fell in love with it. The character of our main prisoner. That one. Just he played such a gentle soul. He did it so well, and for being such a behemoth of a man.
He's so large.
Yeah, giant.
Yeah, R.I.P. Poor Michael Clark Duncan. Been gone from us for a while now. I think almost a decade.
Yeah.
Over a decade. Yeah.
Over a decade. Oh wow. The movie is just phenomenal. It's a slow burn, but it's just something that just grips your attention and doesn't let go. The whole storyline of them being prison guards for essentially prisoners going to be executed.
And for those who haven't seen it, the Green Mile represents the walkway going to the electric chair, and it's painted green. Yeah. So I'll whittle down a storyline to a span minimum. We have our main character Tom Hanks. He again is playing a prison guard for an I don't know what's called what's that, execution block.
It's death row. Like it's death row. Yeah.
And in comes this inmate who turns out to be innocent, but he's been charged with the crimes of murdering 2 young girls, and he turns out to have supernatural powers to either to heal and bring back life. And it's just an amazing story. Who's the actor that plays that little weasel from the movie?
It's the actor is Doug Hutchison, who plays Percy, the little it's a killer cast.
That guy.
Yeah, like not wetting the sponge. I remember when I was rewatching it, I was like, the last time I'd seen it, I was quite young, like in my late teens, and I was like, that wet. I don't know if I'm gonna get to that sponge scene again because I'd forgotten what it was like, and it wasn't too bad. Like I was worried it was going to be really brutal, and it's not pleasant, but you can watch it. It's not too full on.
It makes me feel worse when he steps on Mr. Jingles.
Yeah, absolutely. But then thankfully, old Mr. Jingles gets another go. So
yeah.
When it just came out of left field for me when Mr. Jingles got stepped on, I audibly went just screamed. Just fantastic movie.
As I said, the cast, like David Morse as Brutus, as his sidekick. There's a really funny. I don't know if it's no, it is funny. It's not designed to be funny, but the payoff is funny. Storyline about Tom Hanks not being able to having pain in his
having a UTI.
Yeah, having a UTI, and then when it finally clears up, just him and his wife are in pure ecstasy. It's just so fun. It's just so funnily done, and some much needed levity in a very dark film. Sam Rockwell just playing a villain, as always. Barry Pepper, is he Twilight? Is he in Twilight as well? I'm trying to think. The actor Barry Pepper, he plays Dean Stanton. He's one of the guards. I think he's the younger guard. But I thought he was in Twilight, but maybe I'm wrong. He looks a bit like Carlisle, I think.
Barry Pepper.
I could just be getting confused, which is fine. That's okay. But just everyone, everyone's in it. It's directed by Frank Darabont, who did do Shawshank Redemption. So Frank Darabont and Rob Reiner are the best Stephen King directors. Rob Reiner did Stand By Me and did Misery, and then you've got Frank Darabont, who's done Green Mile, Shawshank. He did The Mist.
No, I know who you're thinking of. It's not the same guy.
No, he looks a bit like the guy who plays Carlisle in Twilight, but he's not. That's someone else. He's got Peter Facinelli, I think it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But I thought Barry Pepper was in it as well. But I think they look kind of similar. Dropping some sweet Twilight references today.
Yeah. Side note, I don't know if I talked about it before, but I recently watched the Twilight series for the first time with Gabby about 2 months ago. I thought the first movie was dog shit.
Yes, we did already talk about it.
Well, the first movie's dog shit.
Theming in this house.
You didn't like some young Anna Kendrick?
She's such a pick-me in that movie.
I can't remember her performance in it at all. The best early performance by Anna Kendrick is Up in the Air. That's where she really shines. But I just remember thinking the friend, the blonde friend who's obsessed with Bella, just being. I think it's Mike. He was very frustrating in that movie.
He's the worst. He just says the dumbest shit.
That baseball scene is great. I don't care. I don't care how you dress it up. It's over stylized or whatever. That's just a fun scene. Anyway,
anyways, back to the Green Mile.
Last little point I'll touch on the Green Mile.
almost cried when our behemoth is about to be executed, and they don't want him. He doesn't want the hood put over his head because he's afraid of the dark. And I was like, no, my poor man.
It's just he played Sweetie so well.
Yeah.
It's
Great
yeah,
movie.
like I like how you, like I almost cried. I'm like, I guarantee you I did cry.
I sobbed, and I think like it's quite like of its time because I think it's set like in the Depression as well. So
Yeah.
like this would have happened a lot. It's still, I mean, it still does, but like there are stories where there's like a story now where this woman, a white woman, she lied about an African American boy, I don't know, killing someone or shooting someone, or maybe it was even like a sexual assault thing. He actually got killed for the crime, didn't do it. She came out as a like geriatric, like an 80, 90-year-old woman confessing that he didn't do it. And because she's too old to punish, it's just like, well.
Whoops.
So,
Yeah.
but this stuff happened all the time. And I mean, like, yes, it's a story. Yes, it's a novel. But like, so many wrongfully people suffering, especially at that time, especially African American men. Like it's just so sad. And like, okay, he was in a lot of pain and he didn't want to suffer anymore. And I get it. But I was just like, but it's not supposed to happen.
It's yeah, it's definitely a confronting flick. You brought some heavy hitters today. Like there's been a lot of fun stuff, but like these last two have been very like, all right, now let's get serious.
Yeah, my last one is probably my heaviest hitting, but it's Gabby's turn.
Well,
time to round out the 90s. Number one film of the 90s.
Mine is not hard hitting.
Also, she stole from me.
But it is the best movie of the 90s, and if you want to argue with me, I'll happily punch you. Because you can't argue with me. My top number one is The Mummy. And I don't think that surprises anyone.
I've been waiting for it. Like, this is the first time it's come up, and so we're 9 for 9. I'm like, someone's going to mention The Mummy. Like, The Mummy was huge. I didn't see The Mummy until
so good.
only a few years ago, but boy, did it hold up. And boy, like, you know, with Brendan Fraser, you know, returning to his prime and winning some tin at the Oscars, like,
good for him.
Good for him.
That I came home. I'd look after Zoe all day, and we came home. I was like, and I realized that the Oscars were all finished up. I'm like, I don't need to watch the whole ceremony, but I do want to watch the speeches. I watched 4 speeches, and it was 4 people who had never been nominated before, and like were unlikely candidates, and I cried at every single speech.
Me too. I did as well, and like it was just so good seeing different people win. Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, okay, like she has famous parents and she's white, but like she's also a woman who's been in the game for a very long time.
50 years. And like a genre queen. Like obviously I think we're all disappointed that Angela Bassett didn't get the performance. Like but a lot of people are like, look, you're talking about the woman who made us cry in the trailer. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah. And then, we have, I'm going to say his name wrong, but it's like Ke Huy Quan. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time he speaks, he's just such a little sweetie, and he just makes my heart warm, but also like he breaks it every time just because like just hearing his story and like the little things like how he's like, was able to like catch up with Harrison Ford again and just like, living out his dream. It's just so sweet. And, having Michelle Yeoh as well, again, been in the game for a very long time, has put out some absolutely killer performances.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yes.
The Crazy Rich Asians. So good in that.
Like, I love that movie, but
even Shang-Chi, she's great in.
Well, she's great in Shang-Chi. She's also in The Last Samurai, which is such a good movie. Wait, not The Last Samurai, sorry. She's in Memoirs of a Geisha, my bad.
That's the one I've got to get on still.
Yeah, so she's fantastic. So I'm just like happy that everyone, you get what you deserve. And Angela Bassett has time in her. She will get there. I know it because she is a force to be reckoned with. So I know she'll get it. The first Marvel film ever nominated, she'll get it. I know she will. At some stage, she will get it. I'm sure, if she had to lose to someone, I feel like it's a good person.
Jamie
to
Lee's
lose
not a bad person to lose to.
No.
Also, because we were talking about Ke Huy Quan before, there's this thing online now where people are just obsessed with all his selfies because he just always takes selfies with celebrities.
He's so
And
cute.
everyone wants to be in the photo with him. But we got way
He
sidetracked.
doesn't realize that he's a celebrity too.
So The Mummy is what we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
It's my fault. I distracted us.
Like 90s Brendan Fraser is like, oof.
Yeah.
God
He's a
damn.
babe. Like he's a babe.
Mega babe. Rachel Weisz, also hot.
I had the biggest crush on her.
Everyone in that movie is good looking, and like, okay, not Benny, maybe, and not the guy with the scarab beetles. He's kind of gross, but like everyone just plays their role really, really well. They're super convincing. There's like the comedy in it, but there's also like the horror part of it. It's like it is scary. At the time when I watched it, I was like terrified, even by the scarab beetles. That was scary.
Oh yeah, that was terrifying.
And like, yeah, I just love the story. It's very like, it's sweet. Even like when they like, because I think he's got the map or whatever, or he knows how to get there, so they have to bail him out of getting hung, and he like kisses her, and I'm just like, oh my God, don't do that. I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah. And then he shows up like dressed up and more well kempt.
Yeah, and he's dressed up and he's got his like 90s hair and he looks like an explorer, and she's like, oh, well, all right, that's fine. And I'm a librarian. Like yeah, and like even her brother's a bit of a rascal, like
Jonathan.
Yeah, he's so funny. Even like the second one I really enjoyed, the third one like not as much, but it also like it's still like nostalgic for me. But I think it was almost like kind of like a different Indiana Jones in a way.
I was gonna say it feels like our generation's Indiana Jones.
Yeah, like even down to like how he wears like his shirt and his pants. He's got all these like ropes and stuff, and like stuff that he's using like a utility belt almost. Like and all the flips and the tricks and the near misses and everything like that. It's kind of like that. And there's like a mission obviously that they need to get through. Like it is really cool. And you've got that history aspect of it. I love ancient Egypt. I'm a humanities teacher, so teaching ancient cultures like to year 7, year 8 is my jam.
You're like, we have to watch the historical.
Yeah, the historically
films, The Mummy.
accurate The Mummy. Everyone get your popcorn and sit down, get comfy, because I will pause it and I will tell you things that have nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I mean, in a world where we're sequelizing everything and bringing people back, like, and now these just won an Oscar, why are we not doing a new Mummy film with like an aged?
Correct.
Well, he said he'd be open for another one, I think.
I don't know why he wouldn't. Like he's got the world at his fingertips again. He can do anything he wants.
Literally everyone loves him. So I don't know anyone who's like ill Brendan Fraser. Like
what I love about it so much is how surprised he is. He's just
I know. He's like, oh, you remember me. Like, what the heck? I saw an interview he did with Adam Sandler on TikTok, and he was saying that like he was in another movie playing like a caveman or something. I can't remember. Like, and this was like again like early 90s, maybe.
Encino Man?
Yes. And then like he talked to the director. I was like, no, we need him for this other movie. And it was the next one where I think he was in a band, which I haven't seen this one.
Airheads, which is great.
Yes. Yeah. And he's like, no, I need him. Like, he's great. Like, I need him. And Brendan Fraser's like, I can't believe like that was you. I can't believe you've orchestrated that. Like, oh wow, like you recognized me. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, have you seen you? Have you just like been in your presence? And like, so see, after seeing The Mummy, it sparked like a love of Brendan Fraser for me. So, you know, like obviously George of the Jungle.
Huge.
Whew, I mean, that scene when he comes out of the shower, I don't know how old I was when that movie came out, but even
You grew up that day.
even my I sure did. That you're okay, now you're a woman. That's what those feelings are. But then even in like Journey to the Center of the Earth, I think
Yeah,
that's
I never saw that one. But I know that was one of his.
I really like that one. Inkheart, I really liked.
Bedazzled.
Yeah. I just think he's great. And
he was in Dudley Do-Right as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. I think he's just got that like charisma. Like it doesn't matter. Like even if the movie's like not top tier, you just like him. He's a very likable character. And then even now when you know you see his interviews and things like that, like because I haven't seen The Whale yet. But he's just you just look at him and you assume or you get the feeling that he is just good.
He had this beautiful moment in his Oscar speech. It was heartbreaking at the same time. And he was like talking about like when he became famous. He's like, you know, it was just there was so much I didn't know what to do with it, and then it was gone. And I was like, oh my god, like you never really hear celebrities talk about like I was on top of the world and then I wasn't. Like maybe Robert Downey Jr. a little bit, but but like just to be like, oh my goodness, like you never really hear like it's. Like you know, we had the Matthew McConaughey thing about 10 years ago, where he started making these really cool and interesting pictures and stuff like that. But he never really disappeared. But this is like a guy who just one day we never heard from again. Like he made, it was probably Mummy 3 was probably the last thing he did, and then no one really heard from him for like over 10 years. Which is crazy. But I agree with you. He's just insanely likable, and like playing a character like that in The Mummy, and being as handsome as he is, like he could easily come off as like cocky and like unlikable. Like Harrison Ford, who I think is a great actor, like some of his roles, you're like, like you are kind of a lovable rogue, but also like kind of a jerk. But I never get that from Brendan Fraser. It's a solid pick. It is not a shock to me that you put The Mummy on there, but I'm glad it finally, after all this time, has made it onto a list.
Yes, I don't think I've not made it a secret how much I love that movie to you. But for those who don't know me, well, there you go. That's my favorite.
And then the sequel, you know, has some of the worst CGI anyone's ever seen in a movie.
Yeah,
just like it's like almost like The Rock is like a Play-Doh. Like he looks like he's like from the Trapdoor show. Like,
just PS2 graphics.
Feed me.
Yeah,
but I find that a very adorable characteristic. Like, yeah, the CGI is not good, but also it's like they committed. And they're like, we're putting this video game cutscene in and no one will notice. And like, to be honest, I never heard anyone complain about it until like the last few years. So they got away with it for a while.
I think it's like something that's like it's cool to rag on, like Nickelback or something. Like it's just it's fun to make fun of.
People always talk crap about Nickelback, but they never talk about Never Again, which is a brilliant song. So
but yeah,
you were like, I don't know what to do with that information, so let's move
on. No, sorry, I just got like distracted. It doesn't take much. But yeah, like I've got some special mentions, but I'll wait till Andre tells us his number one.
He said we're going dark. We're getting serious for his last one, so I'm very keen to hear what.
Yeah. So quite dark, but yeah, my number one pick is Trainspotting.
I mean, yeah, like that's probably the darkest film you could have picked from the 90s. Jesus Christ, with the exception of like Seven or something, which we've already talked about before, Gabby.
Yes, that was in my like favorite movies ever, so I decided not to put that in.
Trainspotting. Yep, it's dark. I've seen it once, and that's the only number of times I need to see it, I think. But take
I
us through
have
Trainspotting.
not seen it.
Yeah, I watched
See
it for the
it.
first
I don't know if
time
you. I
when-
don't know if you plan on becoming a parent, but if you do, watch it before you become a parent.
Yeah, that baby scene.
Oof.
Yeah, that got me hard. No, like, no, like it hit my feelings hard. Oh my god. Oh.
I'm trying to stop my laughter because I'm gonna. Because there are people asleep in the house, but Jesus Christ, I wasn't expecting that, and I know exactly what you meant, but that was a Freudian slip if I ever heard one.
Coming back. Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
very confronting scene.
It is. I watched it for the first time when I was about 15. I can't quite remember who showed it to me, but for those who haven't seen it, essentially it's the it's a life of a group of Scottish heroin addicts.
Oh, great.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. The main character is played by
Ewan McGregor.
That's it.
I'm here to fill the gaps. Don't worry, guys. That's
Thank you. Again,
The kid in my class today called him Ewan.
Ewan.
It's Ewan, and he's like, same thing.
And it was weird because I didn't make the connection back then, and it's only until I watched it recently again 2 years ago I was like, holy shit, that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. But like a skinny heroin addict. And he's the main protagonist, but he has his 4 friends, Spud, Bigby, Sick Boy, and Tommy. And it essentially goes through his life of that, of not just the rush of heroin and the euphoria it gives you, but him not wanting to conform to like the normal lifestyle. He hates his life, but he's become addicted to stealing and ripping people off so he can get that next hit. And it's it definitely has that 90s editing style of there's a scene and then it pauses for narration, then it continues, and again it pauses for narration, stuff like that. It's very stylized, and even that scene with the worst toilet in Scotland where where he takes the suppositories and he finds that toilet in this random pub, and it's just got the text "the worst toilet in Scotland," and it's the most disgusting, grotesque toilet you'll ever see in your life, and he has a hallucination of diving into the thing to retrieve his drugs. I
think it's the first time I saw poop in a movie. It was just like, oh.
With Trainspotting.
Yeah. It's a horrible film. Like, I don't mean a bad film, but it's quite nasty. It's quite confronting. Like, Irvin Welsh just writes messed up stuff. Like, he also did.
Is it a book?
Yeah, it's a book as well. He also wrote Filth, which was a James McAvoy film about 10 years ago, which is also like a film where I was like, oh, this would be good. I like all these people. And then, like, by the end of it, I was so depressed. It's certainly not a bad film. Like, there's definitely a lot to get from it, and I think it's really good for like angsty teenagers. Like, that's kind of what that film's for. Like, even like Fight Club for me doesn't hold up as well as it used to. Did Irvin Welsh also do Fight Club? I feel like he did. Maybe not. Maybe I'm getting confused. No, he didn't do Fight Club. No, I know who did. I can't remember the guy's name now, but someone else did. But yeah, he writes nasty stuff, and it's pretty full on. The baby thing is pretty full on. The porno thing is pretty messed up. There's
would this be like, if I can sit through, like, I like movies that are kind of confronting, but if I like Seven, if I like Boys in the Hood, I like American History X, Do you think I could do it?
Yeah, like it's not a fun movie. Like it does have a happy ending. So to speak.
kind of. It's a film about desperation. Like that's
Yeah.
what it is. It's about 5 people who are kind of stuck in this loop of desperation, and like, yeah, like it's not pleasant. Like it shows you kind of like how like the negative side of drug use and stuff. Like not to the extent of say Requiem for a Dream. Like it's not that dark, but it's kind of in the same vein. And there's like a weird subplot where like I think it's Ewan McGregor's character is obsessed with like a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Like, and he's not 15. Like,
No.
played by Kelly
Right.
MacDonald, who is beautiful. Like she's a wonderful actress and very very clever and funny and also quite attractive as well. But that's weird. It's just like, yeah, because they're not like, they're the bowels of humanity. Like they're the worst
Sure.
people, and it's not played for fun. So it is quite challenging, but like it's worth watching. Like I think it's one of those films that people should watch once at least.
Yeah, yeah. It reminds me. It kind of reminds me of This Is England. If you've seen it.
Yeah, I find This Is England to be a bit more likable, though. I think there's a bit more. But yeah, like yes, it's very much like that. And then there was a sequel years later, like 20 years later, and I think I'm in the minority. I actually prefer Trainspotting 2.
I haven't. I still haven't seen the second one. I guess it's kind of. I kind of want to keep it as it is because I'm scared that the sequel is going to be trash.
It's different because if I remember, I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember watching it. It's nowhere near as depressing, so that was good for me. But
Oh,
a
that's
lot,
nice.
if I remember the film, and I could be completely wrong because it has been a little while. I think most of the characters have kind of cleaned themselves up, so it's them kind of revisiting a period in time, like 20 years later, and kind of seeing how life has changed. The only person who hasn't changed is Begbie. Like he's an absolute maniac still.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for that kind of classic Trainspotting violence and grimness, like he brings it. And there's Robert Carlyle of people who doesn't seem like that kind of person at all. Like you don't really see him play those characters. And we didn't even talk about the fact it's a Danny Boyle film, and Danny Boyle just makes brilliant films like 28 Days Later, 127 Hours, Slumdog Millionaire. Like fantastic filmmaker. But yeah, it's confronting and it's full on, and it's probably a film I don't never need to watch again. But if you haven't seen it, like it's definitely worth a watch. You will feel unpleasant during it, but there's definitely some interesting stuff in there.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, like it is an unpleasant film, but it definitely delves into into exactly like you said, like the desperation like of what people will go through to get what they think they need. Like and it was that point where our main character Renton tried to fix his life, like and he moved away from his toxic friends to start that normal life, and he was happier for a time, but when they came back into his life, he just completely relapsed.
It actually also feels a bit to me, and like people might not agree with the comparison, that's fine, but it's very reminiscent to me thematically, or kind of the way it makes me feel, as Clockwork Orange.
Yeah,
Like even though they're
totally
not really alike, but just like when you're watching, it elicits that same kind of feeling. Where you're like again, 18 years old, Clockwork Orange. Geez, what a cool film. 30. Jesus Christ, what a nightmare this is. Like,
again, and it's only until I've gotten to my last one that like I've noticed my list has just got like we started with Dumb and Dumber, and then Hercules, a nice animated film, then Terminator 2, more actiony, Green Mile, sad but tolerable, and now this is just a very depressing movie. It went from a very high to very low.
Yeah, it's a weird it's a weird film. It's a weird like kind of I don't even know the word, quintuple feature. Like if you watch that as like it's back to back, you're like, oh, this is really fun. Oh, this is pretty fun. Oh, this is getting a bit dark. Oh my god, like what's this?
Are you okay? Do you need to see someone?
Yeah.
Mine are all like, oh, this is fun. Oh, okay, it's a bit out of left field, but okay, we'll continue. But yeah, like as I said, I've got a few like notable mentions.
Yeah, jump into them. By the way, 10 for 10. Every single film you guys have mentioned, no one has mentioned before. So.
Yay!
As the show gets older and we go longer, like that's not going to happen. So we got to celebrate it when it does happen.
But yeah, I'll just rattle them off. So obviously, as I mentioned before, The Lion King, Jumanji, Blade, Anastasia,
Great.
Goodwill, Goodwill Hunting, Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
Titanic, Romeo and Juliet, Death Becomes Her,
So
Goodfellas,
good. Yep.
Jurassic Park, obviously, The Sixth Sense, Mouse Hunt.
A Mouse Hunt.
I love that movie so much.
So good.
The Parent Trap and Sister Act.
Yep.
Sister Act, I bloody love that movie so much. And it's funny, you were talking about gospel music before. I am not a religious person. I wouldn't say I'm a religious person. But when I hear the first song where they sing it and they sing it all together in the church, and it's like the first song since she's taken over the choir.
I haven't seen Sister Act. This is I know. Yeah.
James, what the hell?
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm a constant disappointment to everyone.
Okay. Well, it's like I get do you get like the premise of the movie at least?
Yeah. Oh, it's not,
okay.
it hasn't been a choice to avoid it. It was just one of those ones that was never rented as a kid, and I just never got around to it.
Sure. Okay, so like when she first takes over, they sing like all together, and it's like previously, obviously, they sounded like shit because they weren't working as a team and blah blah blah. And now she's put them all where they're supposed to be, and they sound so beautiful. And sometimes I listen to that song, but it's not on Spotify, which really annoys me. You have to listen to it on YouTube. So that song, and then in Sister Act 2, they sing Joyful at the end, and both times they make me emotional. Like I'm not, like I said, I'm not really religious, but they just sound so like nice. And every time I get to the end and I'm like, anyways, I'm fine. And like their songs that like they sound happy, they sound nice, and it's almost like a happy emotional. But they're my special mentions. What about you? Do you have any?
You basically covered like every 90 movies ever. But
you guys haven't covered anything off my list yet, so there's at least 5 out there.
Well, aside from all the others, I've got The Matrix, I got Fight Club. Again, I've got Aladdin and Mulan and stuff like that. A lot of mine are more like animated movies that they couldn't get to the list. Dumb and Dumber and The Mask were a bit interchangeable for me. But yeah, The Mask is fantastic. Again, a lot of early Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler is fantastic. Just all those classic quotable 90s movies that I'm never gonna let go of.
It's they're solid lists. Like everything on there, even though I haven't seen everything that you guys have watched, I've watched most of them. I think there's only 1 or 2 I hadn't seen. So it was just Ace Ventura and Pretty Woman. So I know I'll be watching soon. But really strong.
And they're easy watches too. So it's not like you have to like space it out because it's heavy or anything.
Like oh my god, I've got to watch Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. I don't know how I'll get through it. Like
both of them, like none of them are raunchy enough that you need to like shield Zoe's eyes. And there's not too much.
I don't watch movies for me with her around anyway.
And then true, because it'd be a bit tricky. But they're very easy watches, both of them.
Nice one. Well, before we wrap things up, catchphrase there again for Andre. We will we'll go through the 90s rapid fire questions very quickly, because I know you guys had to get an early start and it's already later than we planned to do it, but that's okay. Hang on, that's not the 90s one. There's I always asked you the original rapid fire. That would have been embarrassing. There's only 4 questions, but I'll be honest, I'm running out of questions. As I've told other guests in the past, I'm like, we'll just give it a go. Alrighty, Gabby and Andre, which 90s movie has the best poster?
I've thought about this, and I think for me it's a tie between American Beauty or Pulp Fiction.
Oh, those are absolute crackers. I'd probably have to lean towards Pulp Fiction out of the 2, but that's just because I love Uma Thurman.
I think it's because
American Beauty, 99. I was trying to think if it was 2000, but I think it's 99.
both of them for me were ones that even as a kid, like walking past them in the video shop, it's like, oh, what's that? Like I want to, and I'm like, I knew obviously I wasn't allowed to watch it because like the rating was too high. But like you just look at it and be like, oh, that looks cool, that looks nice. And like the both of them are so iconic. Like you recognize them, you see the cover, you know exactly what movie it is. So that's for me.
No, absolutely.
Mine would be Ghostbusters. Just that.
Which
just
Ghostbusters?
The original one that I think that came out.
That's 84.
Yeah. It's just
we're doing 90s.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I feel better about the surname now.
Wait, yeah. Shush. Wait, I had another one. Get back to me. My apologies.
All right. While you're thinking about that, we'll move on to the next question. We will go with which 90s actor or actress is due for a comeback? We've already had one of them. We talked about him for a little while before. But who's stayed in the 90s? We need to get them back.
I would say Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, what a great call. 100%.
I mean, I know she did some work like in the 2000s.
She's done stuff, but she's not been in front and center. Like she's not experiencing a Clueless career anymore.
Right.
What a great call.
So, I think she's still got like, she would still obviously have like a lot left in it. She's not old or anything.
Well, she can get star in our years later Batman and Robin sequel.
That's it. She'd come back as Batgirl. Have you figured out your poster yet?
Yes, Silence of the Lambs.
Great poster.
Like
really.
it's not. Yeah, like it's not one of my favorite movies, but it is just a great. Yeah, it's just a great poster. It's actually what made me watch it in the first place. I know.
Yeah. First of all, with the Twilight, then you're talking about babies and then now you're saying that's my favorite movie. I don't know why I'm even here. I need to go. I need to drive home at 10 o'clock at night.
That I've been thinking about like putting audio clips to the post on Instagram.
Not that.
And I was like, well, I've got my clip for this week. No, I'm not going to do that. That's out of context. That's so unfair.
Oh my god. Anyway.
And do you know who deserves a comeback, Andre? We're going to
look. This might be a bit of a weird one, but I'd like to see Joe Pesci come back for more. I always thought he was just very he was that classic Italian mobster kind of deal. But I always loved him as it. And just to see him in some different roles, to see what he could bring to the table. I feel like he's still got a lot in him.
I think it's a good call. He kind of disappeared off the map for a while and then came back for The Irishman.
Yeah.
But I'd like him to do, whether it's mob work, whether it's 30 years later Home Alone sequel, like bring back Pesci. Like bring back the Sticky Bandits one more time.
Yeah, that's it.
I'd love to see more Pesci. I'm down with that. That's a good choice. Alrighty, this is, I would say, one of the trickiest questions that I've ever written because I don't even know what I mean by it. I just want to come up with something. Which 90s movie could be best improved by the technology of today? So it doesn't have to be CGI, but obviously
he's
90s.
80 years old.
Joe Pesci's 80 years old?
Yeah, he's an old man.
Okay, I've actually given this some thought, so I do have an answer for you very quickly. And it would be a mini series of 3 Men and a Little Lady.
That's not the question I asked.
That's the question, baby.
Oh, god damn it. I didn't even listen, so now I'm not listening. Well, I've answered your other question.
We'll talk about that. The question was which 90s movie deserves a miniseries or TV show sequel? So 3 Men and a Little Lady?
Yes.
Is she all grown up in this one?
Yes.
I like it.
And so they're like granddads now. And so she's got her own baby because the 3 Men and a Baby came out in the late 80s and then the 3 Men and a Little Lady came out in the early 90s. So I've just snuck it in there.
Nice,
but I really liked that movie as a kid.
Steve Guttenberg's still around. They're all still around. Tom Selleck.
Yeah, Tom Selleck, Ted Danson.
And we're getting prime Ted Danson now. Like
from
Good Place. Ted Danson is like the best version of Ted Danson. So.
Right. So like I feel like that could easily be done where it's kind of like a little sitcom type thing.
Yeah, I
Almost
agree.
almost like Everybody Loves Raymond, where they kind of like live over the road and like in the house, and they're almost like as annoying as Raymond's parents, but like she actually wants them to look after the kids all the time.
Do you know what they call it? It's going to be about her daughter, and they're going to call it Three Men and a Little Lady. Like,
and the tiniest lady ever.
Yeah, and the littlest lady. Like, that's what they'll do, which would be very charming. I like that. Do you have an answer for your movie that could be best improved by technology, Gabby? Modern technology, I guess, is what we're saying.
I think I would say like maybe a sci-fi movie. I guess like maybe like I feel like The Matrix is
flawless.
Maybe even Men in Black, like just with some of the CGI stuff.
Yeah, they should have really gone puppetry with all of that stuff, I think. Like,
because I like the animatronics in Jurassic Park. I think with the CGI that they've done, like it works. In the newest like sequels, it works. They look great, but I like the real like
the
look
texture.
of I really like that. And when you see them like do their promos and stuff like that, and they put an animatronic in the shops, like it looks cool. It's like it's nostalgic, but it looks cool, and I really like that. I wouldn't change that in Jurassic Park, but I think in Men in Black, I think it could be improved by a bigger budget with more like new CGI now. Like even just judging things based on like initial CGI budget for things like Game of Thrones, and as now with House of the Dragon, like it's improved so much just in that short period of time. So obviously, from the 90s to 2023, like there's so much they could do with it and make the aliens all weirder and creepier and grosser.
Did I send you, just speaking about dinosaurs, did I send you the reel of the dinosaur birthday party?
Yes.
Okay, good. It's so funny.
So I'm obviously getting a bit delirious because I just jumped ahead. I'm like too keen. I've already got my answers pre-prepared.
I was like, someone's been listening to the latest episodes, which is good. Andre, so you got back to back. So which movie from the 90s could be best improved by modern technology? And then we want to know which 90s film deserves a TV or miniseries sequel.
Okay, so this is gonna sound really weird, but it's just because the CGI looks terrible in the movie, but I think it was on purpose. But in the improved technology, have you seen Mars Attack?
I knew you were gonna say Mars Attacks.
Yeah,
I think that's a great idea. That's a great flick to do. Like, absolutely, it's such a fun movie, and it is deliberately cheesy. But yeah, like you could definitely amp it up and tidy some of the I guess less or the more poorly aged.
Yeah.
Like, but that's it. But like, it's also the charm.
Early Jack Black film, one of his first roles.
Really?
Yeah. I think one of his first. I think before that was I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I think Mars Attacks was after that. And then he did High Fidelity, and then the rest is history. But yeah, Mars Attacks I think is a great answer. I knew you were going to say it somehow. I said when you was like, you probably haven't heard of him. Like, I bet he's going to say Mars Attacks. No, good call. And then which movie are you giving a sequel to? What gets its own TV series or mini-series sequel 30 years later?
I really would like to see a mini-series of The Sixth Sense.
Interesting. And does Haley Joel Osment
like Ghost Whisperer?
Yeah, maybe. So does Haley Joel Osment kind of mentor like a new child who can see dead people?
Yeah.
Or I like that. I like the idea that I came up with.
Yeah.
Like, is this your idea that I've just come up with? Yes, it is. Oh, good. I think it's a really good idea.
It is. Thank you.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, that does it. We survived the 90s. Great lists, great answers to all the questions. I'm really digging it. Do you guys have anything to add, anything to plug before we wrap things up today? I very rarely ask this. No.
I don't think so. I mean, if you want to listen to all of our episodes, please do it.
Yeah,
Because
Gabby
you're
has been
the king and
campaign.
queen
Gabby's
of
been.
the podcast. So
I was gonna say Gabby's been campaigning. We just recently crossed a few milestones on the show. Over 500 listens now. Thank you for that. Closing on 600 followers on Instagram. Thank you for that. Just did 500 posts. I thank myself for that. But Gabby is still the leader. Like her two of her episodes, 2 of her 3 episodes are the top 2 of all listens, and there are some new contenders climbing, but they're still a ways off. So if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, go back and listen to them. I've got a friend who's going to be appearing on the show, I think this week, and she chose your episode as the first one to listen to, and she was like, "It's so good!" Like she was really digging it. So I think because she knew both of us, she was like, "I'm going to start with a guest that I know as well." But yeah, I was like, "Well, don't do that. Like, we're going to boost the numbers of other episodes."
I'm gonna guess who it is off the air.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be surprised at all. I'm sure you'll get it straight away.
It's me.
It's Andre. Andre's like, "Hey, shall I listen to Gabby's episode?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you to Gabby and Andre for returning once again. They're going to be showing up again very soon. I would say in 6 weeks or so. We've got to finish working on that project because that's about halfway done. But they're going to show up in a big episode coming up, which is very, very exciting. If you do the maths, you'll be able to figure out what it is, but I'm not going to say it. Thank you to everyone for listening. If you get a chance, jump online, write a review, give us 5 stars. Nothing less than 5 stars. I won't take it. No, just kidding. We'll take anything, even 1-star reviews, just to get the word out there. Because
I won't take it. 5 stars.
Bad news is still good news, I guess. That's going to do it. As we say every week, guys, I was a teenage film snob, but I'm trying to be better. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.